Alrighty, we are back. Welcome to Min-to-Max 20. Tonight we will be continuing our Through the Frost Trail arc. And so we're excited to be here, continue this adventure. I will say, as promised last, I did, yeah, I figured it out. So here we go. Hold on, there we gotta get the Sir Rizzle lie here. Show the inspiration between.
Just put that overlay over his camera.
Yeah,
the whole time.
I should have had it. Yeah,
shoulders build kingdoms. Like,
bro, look at this man in full. I think it's even better the fact that there's absolutely just it looks like anarchy ensuing behind, like something like a village is probably burning down, and he's just like, oh, didn't see you there.
I think that actually works better for Todd's character. It's just like there's absolute chaos happening around it, but someone's like, "Can I take your picture?" It's like, "Yeah, dude, I got time. Like, I got time."
He's choking a kobold, and then he's like,
Yeah,
you should definitely cut out the
pretty
face
great.
of it and just plaster it over the center of his camera.
Yeah,
Where's your picture of your camera on here?
on what?
I
On
think
the chat.
Oh, it was showing us what it looked like.
And then also I added overlays for everybody, so now we kind of have that going on. Oh, actually,
How
real
far
bit
down do I have to go to
fancy.
mess with it?
how what?
How far do I have to go to mess with it?
The
Oh,
end of your camera.
Hold on,
It's like mine.
go. You'll figure it out eventually, maybe.
I'll make it right here.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and hide that again, and then as long as we are all chilling, I think we can go ahead and jump into this.
Let me.
Where are we at here? Let me go and switch the
We
music
live?
over. We are live,
we-
yes. So
Scream.
no, we're live. I went live
Whatever
because,
it was, no. Whatever it was, no.
bro, whatever it was, just think about it before you do something stupid. Before you get us
Purple die today.
Okay. All right. So I think without further ado,
Here's the problem: is I have two D20s. One rolls high, one rolls low, and I can't remember which one's which.
I know I got 4 right here.
We must find out.
Mork and Gork.
I have a Mort
Is it-
and Gork, dude.
all right. Are we
Bing and Bong.
all ready to go? Everyone got their dice. Everyone got their drinks. Everyone got their things assembled here.
I got my soup. Thank you for asking.
Oh, you got the soup.
How early can we start drinking water?
However early you want, I think at that point. All right. So
Yeah, water.
without further ado, so we will go ahead and do a quick recap real quick as we delve back into this this arc that we started. So last time we had 4 individuals, 4 strangers meet up at this address that was listed on a parchment that was posted around Grimtol Hold, requesting a protection detail for an individual that was hoping to gain access to Snowstone to the east. But obviously at this time it is peak winter, which makes things rather precarious. So he was hoping to get some assistance in venturing over there. At which point you guys all kind of individually trickled in at different times and eventually made contact with an individual named Axov, who kind of went over a lot of the details. He's told you that it was going to be quite the venture. It's about 170 miles to the east. 175 miles to the east, and that it could take anywhere from probably... Oh, let's see. Hold on. Did I not tally those up? It would probably take anywhere from a week to a week and a half to venture over there with everything and you know, get settled over at Snowstone itself. As you guys kind of made introductions to one another and, you know, kind of introduced one another to each other, and kind of just gave some context as to what your skill sets are. You guys kind of asked some relevant questions, figured out what needed to be. Dude, 2 cats! 2 cats!
Dude,
Axov?
the dogs aren't even
let's
here,
go.
man.
Another cat
Oh,
showed up in
oh.
Axov's house.
Make him dance.
We need to go back, guys.
At which point,
We need to
as
go back to Axel's house.
as the meeting concluded, you all kind of collectively decided to make your way to the Hearthfire Inn, which turned out to be an extravagant, luxurious hotel that is kind of the primary means of stay for people who venture to Grimtol Hold kind of in the spring and the summer, and, you know, go on like large game hunts or, you know, explore the region itself. So And we ended the session with y'all kind of just sharing some stories, swapping kind of some knowledge about each other, and as you guys kind of were drinking into the later portions of the evening, which is where we're gonna go ahead and pick up tonight's game. As about an hour, 2 hours has gone by, you guys have each all kind of finished your meal, kind of sitting happy, as the food was delicious. It was very, very good. And so you guys are kind of just sipping on some of your drinks. For the most part, most of the vouchers are used up. I'd say maybe there's like 1 or 2 left. But if there's anything you guys would like to do before or talk about before retiring for the evening.
Yeah, I think Morello is going to step outside. He's going to light up his pipe and kind of look up at the sky and just say, well, I've lived this long. I hope to not be seeing you two anytime soon, but I hope you are doing well. And just stand outside for a little bit and just smoke.
Okay. With the actual pipe for the immersions.
Very real
Yeah.
smoke.
That's
Very
good.
real
So,
smoking going on here.
I would say at this point, it's probably been about
Great
5.
Smoking on stream.
It's been about
For
5-10
legal
minutes as Morello's kind of stepped off and kind of exited to exit back outside. And actually, at Morello, as you exited out, it's been a little while, so it's probably getting a little closer to 9-10 o'clock at night. And as you step out, it is very chilly. Like it was, it was cold during the day. But like as you step out, you immediately kind of get hit with that brunt of like cold air, and you kind of have to like tuck some of your clothes a little bit closer to your chest, and then you're just kind of sitting there, you're smoking. You said your little note to the heavens, at which point like you kind of continue to smoke, and like just even a short breeze kind of finds its way over to you and just sends like a shiver down your spine. And you're just like, oh god.
At that point, I'll tip everything out of the rest of it, put my pipe away, and immediately go inside. Like, I have to spend most of the rest of the week out here, so I might as well get out of the cold while I can.
Yeah, and as soon as you come in, hit with warmth again, which was, you kind of got accustomed to as you were in there for some time, but it's immediately welcome. It's like when you get out, you jump into like a cold pool and you get back into the jacuzzi. It's like, you're like, okay, you reset, you're like, you can enjoy it like once again. But while he was outside, is there anything y'all want to discuss?
Exclusively while he was away.
I mean, yeah, the 10-15 minutes that he's out.
There's probably I would think veered into this is probably just enjoying his drink. He's not making an effort for any conversation. Like maybe like listening in on like as we've been talking about stories and such, but not like offering many of his own.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'll ask. So would you guys like to go about together to do business so that in case there's some overlap that we don't spend more money than we need to? In case
Yeah, I
all
mean we could.
buy multiple of the same thing, even though we don't need more.
Yeah, I was thinking we would all meet at the get our gear outfitted for the cold, so that we would
Right,
know.
the,
Because I believe it'll take a good amount of time to set it up, and we'll kind of know the time frame of when we can depart.
Yes. And then
Yeah,
after that, do we want to go to the same places, or will we just split off from there?
I think from there, because I know they mentioned scavenger over there with their trinkets, and then we got all the mounts and livestock and such. Which, by the way, I was thinking, because obviously we're all planning on buying our own little pack mule. Do we need to maybe get another additional mule to just carry more stuff?
Hmm.
I don't
guess
know.
it depends on what we end up with.
Maybe we
That actually is
we might
that's
ask
good.
Askoff about it if he thinks it's doable, but I don't know. I haven't done a
Yeah.
journey like this, so I don't know if there's extra stuff we'll need to bring with us.
You did. I think you mentioned firewood. Something.
Something
It
for
may
which
not
to
be
drag a
abundant along the
tree.
way.
Just drag a tree along,
I mean, that would work. But there may not be trees along the whole way.
Right.
Honestly, don't know what to expect, but I'd figure a fire at night would be good to stay alive. Probably. I think that is imperative.
No, yeah. I guess we'll Yeah, I guess we'll look at the livestock. We'll have, because we plan on talking with Axoff tomorrow, or the day after tomorrow, I guess. So, I guess at that point, it's not like we won't be able to buy another mount if we don't need to. So, I guess we can
Yeah.
bring it up to him and see.
It shouldn't take too long. I don't think they would keep us waiting. It would depend on for some reason they have a lower stock. Yes, but it might slow us down though, because we would need, I think, we would probably need to leash it to another one of the ox.
Right.
And that may, well, I guess, it may present an issue if we would need to break off or something, but we could always leave it at the camp. So I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I guess we can ask either him, Axoff, or the actual stable hand, or whoever it would be. I don't know the proper term for it, because I think this is pretty much like oxen. Did they say like a?
Yeah, yeah, they were.
Whatever furry thing, and whoever's
Dogs.
selling them, you know. But yeah, just something to think about. But I think I'm gonna turn in somewhat early here, so
Yeah.
I think
if you don't need anything, I'm gonna peace out.
at this point,
We're-
you're stepping
I
back
do
up.
say peace out.
At Morello, you kind of are walking up at this point as you hear the tail end of him saying that he's going to probably retire. He's going to step back in.
Sorry for good. I'm actually leaving.
Well,
I'm not doing this job.
As he's going to like step out, I will put my hand on his shoulder. I'll be like, "Have a good night, my friend." And then I will immediately remove my hand, seeing him like.
Yeah.
He cringes.
I was fully prepared to counter whatever it was you were gonna try to do. So-
Roll to counter cringe. On that note, where should we meet in the morning?
Do we just want to meet in the lobby area of here?
Yes, I think that would.
And we could meet at Levesky's.
I think hearing
yeah,
that,
I'm
I'm
good
gonna
with
look
either.
out. What's the like? Are there windows outside aside from the stained glass for me to kind of see the condition of the weather outside right now, or kind of get an idea?
There are like little like windows that are kind of at each of the booths a little bit. They're not like super tall, but they're kind of rectangular and just kind of use like a little slit so you can kind of be like, oh shit, like what is it outside? But it's not like a normal like full size window, but you can see outside, yeah.
Yeah. So is it? Can I tell looking outside that it's like chilly as all hell, or is it like?
I mean, you look outside and you can see that there is some snow kind of just like trickling down, and you can see that at different points as you kind of watch it for a couple seconds, you know, for like 20-30 seconds, you see that at some points like it does like breeze like heavily to one side and then kind of stops again. So it seems like off and on wind. So, but it doesn't seem like it's like super crazy out right now.
Yeah, it doesn't seem crazy at least.
Yeah.
I believe
I think
it
at
will
least
remain.
seeing that. I think I would pipe up and say, I think the lobby sounds better because I don't want to be standing in that much longer than I have to, though. That looks a bit frigid for me right now. We'll have to get used to it, but I'd rather get used to it while getting paid.
It is quite cold out there. I was just outside, and that wind is very harsh.
Okay, well, shit.
Alright. Well, it's decided then. I guess. Are we gonna be up early?
I will be
I'll be
awake
up.
pretty much when the sun comes up.
Okay. Yeah.
Do we know when Levesky opens his shop?
We actually do not.
I don't think we have any reasons. We can maybe.
Is there someone like at the counter?
There is Joanna is still over at the counter. Yeah, if you kind of like spot her from the far side, you
Yeah.
can go up to the front if you'd like.
I'll go over to her.
As you walk over to her, she goes, "Oh yes, what can I do for you?"
Oh, do you know when Levesky opens his shop?
Well, I do not know specifically when his shop opens, but I do know that the majority of the time, a lot of people will open around sunrise and they'll close at sundown because it gets so much harsher when the sun is not up, and so a lot of people do not move outside of those times. So I would say probably around sunup. So there's probably a good time, a good what's the word? Estimation as to when he'll be open.
Okay, thank you very much.
Of course, yeah, no worries.
And then I return back to the group, and I'll. So it seems probably everywhere's gonna be opening up at sunrise. So I guess we'll just wake up a bit before that.
And I would say, let's see. So I would say definitely. I would say definitely you, Sir Denrick. You would know that the sun has definitely, since you've been up here for a couple more days than everybody else, you definitely know the sun rises much later in the morning. So you don't have to get up super early for you to meet the sunrise. It would equate to about probably rising at like 8 or like almost 8:30 in the morning.
Okay. Well, the sun rises a bit different up here. I've gathered. Seems to be a little bit later in the morning than what we're probably used to down south. So I guess it's relative. Be up early as in regards to the townsfolk here, and you know what they say: the first to the dungeon slays the dragon. Well, I think.
Blank look at my face, just no connection to whatever the fuck he just said.
I'm gonna be pondering that one for a while.
Indeed. Slap the table.
Well, with that,
Well-
I bid you all good night.
Yes,
That
I
was
think I
another-
will head up to.
Good night, Sir Denrick.
So, like, as I try to make like my own, like, I'm gonna leave everybody. We all end up leaving together. I'm like,
Yeah, you're like the one that initiates it. You're kind of like, all right, I'm gonna head out, and everyone's like, yeah, me too. Yeah, for sure. And then everyone starts heading out. I will say, as you guys have been kind of just, hold on, let me go ahead and do one thing real quick. Gonna turn. There we go. Okay. I have everyone make Constitution saving throws for me. For the alcohol.
Let's find out
yeah,
which
ha ha.
find out which dice rolls high, which rolls
Yeah.
low.
You didn't see that 8 coming, did you?
Okay, this one is the dice
Strong.
rolls.
Yeah, that's an 8.
Yeah.
Oh, 2 8s?
15 for me.
Okay.
Coward. That's what I
All right,
heard.
we'll find.
My man didn't drink
one.
enough.
The hardy boy.
Yeah, there's that.
He's just too
I didn't
big.
drink a bottle of wine.
Oh, are you good over there? Are you good over there, Denrick?
13.
13? Okay, so I would say.
Figure out which dice rolls low is that one.
Oh, gotcha.
Plus
13?
7.
Oh, Jesus.
And he looks at his stats. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
I did. I'm like, okay. well, I guess it's-
So I would say,
Oh, it's 18.
Morello and Sir Denrick, as you guys kind of all collectively stand up and go like, yeah, we're gonna head out. You both definitely a little buzzed, but y'all stand up and y'all like, okay, kind of hits you for a second. You're like, okay, but then you're like, okay, no, we're good. And so you guys are, you're feeling it, but you're not like super like messed up by any means. However, Zahir.
I only had the one drink.
Zahir and Virden, you both kind of like you stand up, kind of get to your feet. You are like halfway through this Midsummer's Wine, and it is strong too. Like this is super good,
Ooh,
but it's super
I'm
strong.
carrying it with me.
You get up and you kind of
Party.
stumble for a second. You like reach your hand out to the table, and you're like, okay, and then you kind of stabilize yourself. So here, you said you only had like a drink or two, so I'd say that you're buzzed, but you're not super tilted. So
Finally hits me as I stand up.
yeah, you kind of stand up because you're kind of just chilling, but then you get up and it kind of rushes it to your head, and you're like, oh, geez, okay. But y'all are still cognizant to some degree, but just feeling it.
Blackout.
Stand up.
I think as I stand up,
Jesus.
is there any like food still on the table, like anything from my plate or anything like still like?
Yeah, there's like bits and pieces of like different like fruits and stuff. The things that just like the scraps of the food. Yeah.
I'm gonna like just take my plate and what's left and an open bottle of wine, and I'm gonna make my way into my room, and I don't know, maybe like turn on Housewives or something and go to bed.
Okay.
That's kind of the vibe I got right now.
Turn on the TV.
Okay.
Turn on my TV.
And
They have arcane televisions.
And correct me, dude, that would be dope. But no, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say Zahir and Morello, you guys are rooming together, and
That
then
is correct.
Verdin by yourself and Sir Denrick by yourself, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So and I want to say you have to correct me. I think you're on like the second floor, Denrick, and I want to say everyone else is on the third. If I
I'm 305.
Room
302.
302.
okay. And
I
then
was
you're-
wondering why I had this number written down, and now I know 305 means something.
well, good thing you wrote it down. So
Yeah.
Which Which room number did you give me?
I didn't give you one. I think it would be 213. 213. You're kind of towards the back end of the hall for Utah on the second floor, or for Denver on the second floor. But you all kind of like collectively kind of are like, all right, we should probably pack it in. You all go ahead and start making your way across the large kind of hearth, kind of like common space where you kind of pass by some other individuals. There's not as many as there was to start. You know, when you guys first entered in, there's probably about 4 or 5 kind of meandering, kind of chilling. Just enjoying the warm atmosphere as you guys make your way to that large staircase. And it's about probably like 20 foot wide across the stairs as you guys all kind of step up. Like y'all can kind of like inline step up and still be like comfortable as you guys make your way up. You do hit a landing that kind of overlooks the entire space, which is pretty cool. And then it doubles back and then continues up into the second floor. As you make your way onto the second floor, you see that there is directly in front of you, you do see there's like a long hallway that just shoots straight out, and then to your left and your right, you do see stairs that do come up and then kind of do the same thing, and they switch back up even more. So
other stairs that come across also 20 feet along.
No, they're more narrow. They're more narrow.
Okay,
yeah.
Do we got 60 linear feet of stairs? Okay.
No, you're No, they're like normal size. They're still a little bit wider. They're about probably like 7-8 feet, but they're not like the same like encompassing presence. So, but Denrick, that is where you kind of nod your head goodnight as you kind of make your way down to your room. As the rest of you collectively kind of then make your way up the left kind of stairwell. You go up, and this one it does so as it hooks back and it kind of has a similar landing as it doubles back, you go up, at which point it kind of similarly reflects the downstairs. However, you're walking straight, the hallway to your rooms is to the left, and then there's another stairwell that goes up to the right. So it's almost like reflecting the stairs below, except for it goes up. So
I think because there's 2 different directions, I'm gonna intentionally take the other direction that they don't take. So when we get to that landing, we see each other, and I'm a little bit drunk. I'll be like, "Fancy seeing you here." And just make my way to my room.
okay.
Do you come here often?
Hey, I'm in 305. If you want to feel alive.
I'll give him a nice hearty slap on the back.
I feel pain.
You're like, oh shit.
It's like shit. This isn't real life.
As you all go ahead and retire to your
that
evening.
might send me actually.
As you Sir Denrick, that thing kind of unfamiliar to you. I want to say everybody got their. Did everyone get the middle tier, or did someone get the economy?
I got the cheapest.
You got the economy. Okay,
yeah.
sounds good.
I spent more on wine than it did in my room.
Yeah.
As it
It was
should be.
$10 for wine, $8 for my room.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Gold,
think.
I
Hold
should
on.
say. Yeah.
U.S. dollars.
US
I guess
yeah.
actually technically.
DM.
Hold on.
Yeah.
For your Virden, what is your room number again?
305.
305. So it would actually be 405. Because they have them.
Keep going up.
They have them sectioned off. Economies at the top, and then it would be moderates in the middle, and then it'd be upper.
Yeah, make
upper.
those pores walk.
Yeah. So as you're like, fancy seeing you here, and then you like stumble up even more up the stairwell, going up. But as you, so Denrick, Zahir, and Morello, you guys all kind of see this similarly kind of set up rooms. As you guys enter in, there's like a little bit of, there's a little nook for like what's it called? What's a bathroom called?
Shithouse.
Yeah, a pooper.
Chamber pot.
Chamber pot. Chamber pot or a latrine. It's a little bit, yeah. So it's not just, it's obviously done up nice, but you know there is a place to you use the bathroom. Deeper into the room, Denrick, you knowing that you'd be by yourself, you got a single bed, and you do kind of have in these kind of middle tiering rooms, you do have like some furniture, like you have like a sofa, like a cushioned sofa. You have like a what is it? You have like a coffee table. You just have a couple different things. And then you obviously have like the lights affixed to the wall as you have like the candles and stuff that light up the room itself. And then for you, Zahir and Virden, you guys kind of have it's similarly kind of set up. However, there's 2 beds and there's just a little bit less like kind of like cozy furniture. But there's like a couple chairs, like instead of a couch, it's like a single cushioned chair, and then you know that of the assortment, and like a chair or 2. However, you do notice that in each of the rooms there is actually a hearth. So, and there is respective wood.
Shit.
There is respective wood in each thing.
I'm pocketing the wood for the
An
trail.
extra blanket.
Pocketing.
I'm taking the
Pocketing a
complimentary
log.
soap.
Yeah.
But as you all, hold on, let me go adjust this real quick. As you all find yourselves to an evening's rest, as you guys kind of doff your armor, is there anything you guys would like to discuss or do before we take a long rest?
Are you actually gonna pocket the wood?
I don't have any pockets for the wood.
Well,
Your
I have a backpack, so I will pocket the wood.
All right.
You
Bundle
leave
it
your
up.
backpack
So
looking
my room has
abnormally
another little
large.
hearth as well. Or...
Yeah, so I mean, like
Okay.
you wouldn't know, but comparatively, yours is smaller because of it. But like,
Yeah.
but like you do, each room does have hearths.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'll leave some of the wood in there, and I'll use one of my charges of my fire breath to light it.
Okay. As you go and you light up the fire, Zahir, you kind of see this, and you're like, oh shit.
Nice.
I pile the wood in the fire,
Is it
and
a
I
new
use
one?
normal means to light the
Use
fire.
normal means.
Yeah, I use prestidigitation to turn on my little fire. Got switch.
Bunch of fancy
Whatever
folks
wood
in
is
there.
in there, light it up, go to bed.
Sounds good. As it kind of starts to snap and crackle, and pop with the when the flames start licking at the wood. You guys all kind of collectively eventually find yourselves to sleep, and a long rest takes all of you. It is the
Excellent.
beds are incredibly comfortable, and you all find that rest comes easily. And except for Denrick, you will be taking an extra like 30 minutes, kind of like
I
taking
think
off.
I was
different-
I know you mentioned it, but yeah, I need to pull all my
Polishing.
armor off.
Yeah, which
I'm also. How is me being drunk gonna work with me like being an elf and meditating instead of sleeping? Just like on the bed, just.
You need the full 8 hours
Are
instead
you-
of the 4 now.
yeah, I would say that like you try to meditate, and there are times you just kind of doze off, and you wake up, and you're kind of like your pose of meditation is kind of like faltered, and you're like, oh,
Nice.
okay, and you don't have to meditate either. Like that's a thing that you can. It's an optional trait where you can just straight up sleep if you feel comfortable with it. Depends on what you want to do though.
I don't think I would feel comfortable in this place.
Okay.
Like, I'm being relaxed and I'm enjoying it, but I'm still not like comfy. Exactly, not comfy enough to like sleep like a psychopath.
Gotcha. Easy enough. All right. Well, sleep takes all of you, and before you know it, y'all are all rising from your slumber on a new day. It is now going to be the 10th of Warwind. Let me go ahead and write this down. It's going to be the 10th of Warwind.
Oh.
And as you all find yourselves coming to, each, Sir Denrick and Virden, you guys kind of both, doing your kind of morning rituals, getting yourselves ready. So here and Morello, if there's anything you guys want to directly interact with each other, that's fine. Or you guys can all just get ready and meet downstairs.
I'll wake up like probably a bit before like the sun's even started to rise,
Okay.
and
They
yeah,
have a way to
I'm gonna like the blinds are closed, right? Is it?
Yeah.
How dark is it in the room?
It's pretty dark. I mean, there's a little bit of embers from the fire itself, but it's very dimly lit.
Okay, it's dark enough. So
Yeah.
I'm going to pull out a very round stone I have, and I'll place my my staff upright and like try and like pile some things around the base of it to make it stand up, and I'll cast light on a little like round metal ball that I have, and I'll place it on top of my staff, and it's going to scatter the my star map onto the ground.
Okay.
And I will consult that.
Okay. Nice. As you kind of as you do all this and you shoot this, and the stars kind of emulate what you've come to obviously through time understand how things how the stars align in constellations, and and viewing it from down here, which is very helpful with having this tool because it reflects it almost perfectly and almost like in real time onto the floor itself so that you can discern. What exactly are you going to be looking for?
I will just be consulting the omens for the day.
Okay. And that's part of one of your features, right?
That is part of one of my features.
Okay. Sounds good.
I like the idea of Morello waking up, looking, and then seeing the stars coming from below. it's like,
I kind
that's
of
gonna
look
be a little
over.
rough.
Like, is this what you mean by consulting your stars when you have talked about it before, where they tell you where to go?
It's one of the ways, yes. Knowing what is in front of you is important, but also knowing how you feel about what is in front of you is possibly even more important. And currently, it is looking good for today.
Well, that is.
And also, it is far too cold to look at the stars outside. So this is very nice that I could do it inside.
Anything I can help with, let me know. If not, I am going to start getting myself ready for the day and grabbing my armor.
I should just be fine.
Well, then I'm gonna start donning on my armor.
so good.
And,
Yeah, I'll put my after this. I'll put my breastplate on. I'll probably be down into the warrior area.
Yeah.
A little bit late.
I will be outside if you need me. I'm going to take a quick step to smoke, and I'm gonna start gandering downstairs while he's doing his thing.
Okay.
Excellent.
So when I woke up, I guess, however much earlier, if I don't know how I would communicate with, I guess, my patron or anything, but I have like the holy symbol from being the acolyte. I guess I'll just touch it or whatever to see if there's any kind of like just obvious disturbance or anything. Just like just like a little check, just seeing if there's anything going with it. Like, vibrating at me. Is it like, I don't know. Like, I don't think Virden would know what he's looking for, but it's kind of just grabbing it. Just like, all right, well, maybe there's something.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead and make a religion check.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That is 26.
Are you proficient in religion?
I am proficient.
Oh.
I am proficient in religion, and it's an intelligence thing. So.
Oh, nice. Okay, so
he
with
has a +6 wisdom.
So-
He has 22 wisdom.
I would.
Cleric isn't Christian in religion.
He said religion. Who needs it?
Religion.
Oh shit.
So as you kind of you touch this as you touch your holy kind of symbol that that in times of kind of in hardship or like kind of uncomfortability, you kind of use it as almost like a little bit of a reinsurance. And I'd say that as you kind of are you looking at it, or are you just kind of like touching it like as it's adorned over your neck?
I'm in like a private place, so like I think I normally would keep it kind of hidden anyway. So I think I'll like look at it and such.
Okay, so
Or, like the low lit room, you just kind of like looking at what's probably also black, just a black symbol in a black room.
yeah, exactly. And as you're kind of looking at it, and you're kind of, you're looking at it, but you're also kind of thinking elsewhere. You're almost like kind of, just staring. Nothing, no like words or nothing like comes to you auditorily. However, it does reassure you some, and you are, coming to the material plane. It can always be a little bit uncomfortable and a little bit precarious depending on the circumstances, but I would say that it kind of gives you someone's
Yeah, I
fan.
think we're getting some static from me right now, Logan.
Oh, there you go.
No,
You fixed
no,
it. You
yeah.
fixed it. Okay, you're good. That was weird. You leaned forward and it broke everything. Anyway, so I would say as you feel it, you feel reassured and you feel confident and more comfortable. It kind of almost gives you like a little bit of perspective, kind of calms you down a little bit, kind of eases some of your anxiety, and you kind of spend a couple minutes with it, and then you kind of take a deep breath, kind of exhale some of those emotions, and then tuck it back in.
Neat. Yeah, cool. Then I guess I'll head down probably because it's like a 4-hour long rest. So I'm just gonna head down as soon as I'm awake, not knowing how long these people need to sleep, and I'll just be in the lobby until I see the next person.
Okay, sounds
Okay,
good.
wait.
Should we roll to see who gets there first?
I mean, I guess.
Probably
but-
you,
but
but-
whatever you want to do. But because I don't know, however long you would have thought I slept, because I only sleep like 4. So like as soon as I'm awake, I'm like, all right, I'm be in the lobby.
I would like to
Okay.
contest him being there
Yeah.
first.
No, I would say the fact that he's cutting your long rest in half when it comes to time that is needed for him to actually get the benefits. I would say that you are definitely downstairs in the lobby. It is like dead morning, and it is just you down there. And
Right.
as
Yeah, that's what I'm-
as you kind of walk down there, you kind of have everything. You have everything kind of on, adorned and stuff, and you're like ready for the day. But like it is very dim. Like everything was lit up and whatnot, hours ago, and it's kind of interesting to kind of see it kind of darkened. And as you are kind of walking down, as you step off the last steps and you kind of cut over to the left, you do see Joanna She is kind of at one of the hearths itself, kind of with like the little cage that like kind of keeps it protected in. She has it open. You can see that she's kind of like placing a couple logs in there to kind of keep the ambient light kind of going and the warmth as she then kind of closes it, as she puts the couple the 3 logs in there, at which point she kind of wipes her hands, kind of looks at it, and then turns, and then unless you're intentionally being stealthy.
No, I think me being stealthy right now would be weird, and I think I have enough social awareness to not do that.
Okay, so as she kind of turns, and she does make eye contact with you as she's walking back, kind of with an empty bag. She kind of just nods and kind of smiles, but doesn't say anything, and then walks back towards the counter. However, she goes back behind it, and there's like a cracked door behind it, and she goes kind of towards the back somewhere and leaves the visual space.
Okay. Then yeah, because the hearth that you're describing, is that kind of at least in view of the lobby area or in the lobby itself?
Yeah. So to kind of recap, when you go through the central door, like the front doors, right off to the right hand side, and kind of now where you are, since it's reflected off to the left hand side, there are the 3 kind of like Barnes and Noble-esque kind of hearths. We know where it's like a circular kind of hearth area where there's fires, and it kind of goes, and like the exiting kind of chimney kind of goes up into the ceiling. There's 3 of those scattered, and she was at the closest one to where the carpet kind of cuts off from the lounge area and then like the admin portion. And so she just was crossing back over, and there's like bookshelves, there's kind of some tables, there's some lounge chairs, and there's just like that's the whole common area and like games and stuff. And that is where she was.
Yeah, I think I'll just go sit around that fire in such a way that I can kind of see the door, I can kind of see the stairway. So pretty much I'd be facing the front counter if she would to be there, and I'll just probably pull out my spell book and kind of just leaf through it, just kind of just observe what I might want to have for the day, and like take that time, I guess, to prepare my spells, I guess, like in the real time of the world.
Sounds good. Yeah. Obviously you have a handful of hours, so is there anything else, or are you literally just chilling?
Dude, I think I'm waiting, because in my mind I'm like, they'll be here any minute.
Okay.
Like, because I don't know how long they sleep. I'm just like, okay. Unless like something else comes up, I'll probably just wait for them.
Okay. So I would say towards the early morning hours, eventually, as you're kind of sitting there and you're kind of you're focusing, you're thinking, doing a lot of kind of thinking and doing like you did your spell preparations like hours ago, and so now you're just kind of hanging out. At the wee hours of the morning, after you've been down there for a handful, like probably 2 or 3, eventually you do see another woman enter in the front doors as she makes her way over to the counter. She's kind of similarly dressed as Joanna, and you can see that she kind of has her hair isn't like done up or anything. It kind of looks like has some bedhead, as it's kind of like frizzled and whatnot. But she does go over up to the counter, and you kind of hear her and the Joanna kind of talking briefly, and then they kind of both then enter into one of the back rooms together. If you would like to do an insight check to kind of like determine, or if you just whatever.
My gut reaction, I guess I'll do an insight check, but my gut reaction is like they're changing shifts.
Yeah, I mean
or something. But yeah, I'll roll an insight just in case.
Okay.
What was that? I am proficient. So that is a natural 20.
Yeah. So your kind of gut instinct, and you kind of thinking it over. You're like, yep, that's definitely probably a shift change. So.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
I'm like, is it better check my notes? Probably. Okay.
Yeah. So at which point, as about an hour or so after that happens, you do start to, like, the first couple bits of light from the sunrise kind of starts to shoot through the large kind of stained glass kind of menagerie over on the far wall, as the light starts to kind of creep over the distant walls, as the light starts to pour in from the sun itself rising, which rises in the east. No, rises in the west. Rises in the east. Hold on.
Rises in the east, sets in the west.
Right. Yeah. So rises in the east, sets in the west.
Do I have that backwards?
Who knows? It is sunrise, and yep, and then you're starting.
Rises in the east.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's in the west.
And so as these handfuls and numerous different colors start to shoot through these stained glass and just like sending these streaks down and starting to light up the common area down here.
Take a picture with my phone.
You're like, it's like a Polaroid. You're like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
It'd be
Polaroid.
at this
Quickly
point.
paints a picture.
it'd be at this point that you do. There's a couple other people that do end up making their way down and kind of just taking their time or kind of occupying the same space as you at a different hearth, and they're just kind of hanging out.
No one's sitting at mine.
No one comes down. It's only 3 individuals, but eventually you do see kind of you do see like a individual dressed like as a waiter. You know, he has like the apron around his waist. He kind of has dressed up nice, and he kind of makes his way over to you as he's making eye contact. Like you're kind of like hoping he directs, but then he's like making direct like pathing to you, and you're like, oh, here we go.
Being hungover at brunch.
But this individual comes up to you.
I am, I guess.
You would be.
And he's about middle aged. He kind of has like a close shave, but kind of like thick beard as he walks up. Kind of has some shorter hair. Walks up. He's like, good morning, sir. Would you like anything to drink, like coffee or anything to get your day started out?
I'm alright. Just waiting for my traveling companions. But thank you.
Oh, no, absolutely no worries. As he kind of at this point he just kind of redirects, goes to the other people over there, and starts interacting with them. And I would say probably about 30 minutes, 45 minutes at this point, as you guys all now are kind of descending the stairs. I would say, Morello, you're probably first to go down as Zahir's doing his star map, and then Denrick's putting on his 1,000-pound armor that takes a while to don. So at this point, Morello, you do make your way into the downstairs lobby, and you do see Virden hanging out.
I'll kind of nod over to where he is, but I'm still gonna make my way outside really quick, so he's just gonna step out and enjoy a moment alone in the cold before walking over to talk to Weirden.
Okay.
Veer.
Weirden, dude. It's a Weirden.
Yeah, weird fucking guy.
It is very, very hard to say. We.
I mean, I was gonna say.
I will have stroke.
Oh, go ahead.
Because of this.
I mean, I was gonna say I normally wake up a bit early to don my armor, but
No, that sounds good. I mean, he's the first to go down. Like, you woke up early to get to the point where you'll be down there in relative time. As you exit out the front doors, Morello, it's a tad warmer. Not by much, but it's a little bit warmer. As the sun kind of starts to creep over the walls of the hold, kind of shooting light onto the streets. It has stopped snowing, by the way. It is kind of there is some like cloud coverage. It's a little bit spotty at the time or at the moment. There is enough to where like the sun kind of peeks through and kind of shines through, but there is still cloud coverage over the sky. As you're outside, kind of smoking, so here you do make your way downstairs, and you do see Virden.
I will walk up. It's gonna be a good day, guys. Are you guys ready to go?
I think as you say that, because Morella's still outside smoking, yeah?
Yeah.
I think I would probably hate the fact that I'm excited to talk to someone. I've been sitting here. I probably hate it a little bit. Like, yeah, I'm good to go, but I think we're still waiting. I saw the holy man walk outside just a minute ago, but I haven't seen Sir Denrick yet.
As you approach,
It's probably good. It's probably good that it's blurred out.
What in the hell?
all right, it's
Oh, hey, you good, my boy?
6% water.
And I'm the one who dropped. No, I'm good. Sorry.
No, you're good, man.
Let's click my Spotify around.
So I would say as Morello goes and enters back in from smoking, as you guys are all three kind of meet up, I would say you can hear the clanking and the shifting of metal, pretty far out as you eventually hear the heavy footsteps of Sir Denrick making his way down to the down the final steps to the actual parlor area.
I think hearing all this, I'll turn to Zahir and say, like, well, here comes the whole garrison. Making an attempt at a joke.
I don't attempt to be quiet.
I'm sure you don't.
Very intentionally makes an
friend.
entrance.
I would like to have predetermined with my my squire to have fanfare in the lobby as I approach.
They roll down the red carpet
Every
on the red
morning,
carpet.
same thing.
Actually, or no?
No.
Okay, I was about to be like, hold on.
Of course not.
This.
I was about to be like,
The
hold on.
magician I would, but
So at this point, you guys all are rallied in the lobby, and the day is yours.
All right. And at this point, there's like sufficient enough, like this a decent amount of light.
Yeah. It's probably been about 30-45 minutes after sunrise. So yeah, the sun is now up, and light has kind of taken hold of the area.
Okay.
I come
How
down.
did your night treat you guys?
God damn it.
It was comfortable. Probably had a little bit too much of the old elven wine, but you know, I slept. I'm here now, so we're all right.
You slept? From what I know of your kind, you do not sleep that often.
How much do you know of my kind? Because I spent my night how I did. I'm here.
All of the else I have adventured with up to this point have never slept. One that I did adventure with stared at me the entire night. He said he was in a trance, but I was not quite sure because he just sat there blankly.
Yes, some of us definitely do fib with the rules of it a little bit and just stay up all night staring. That is definitely that's a known thing. But yeah, I guess if you guys didn't know, I don't really sleep. I'll be honest though, I had a couple drinks, so I don't know quite what sleep is exactly, but I felt like it for a good bit there.
Well,
I'll make my way.
some rest.
You know, trying to quiet my mind, and there was a whole band going through, you know, so.
I'll make my way
I think
down the
I think that's
stairs.
sleep.
You're already at the group, Todd. You're already at the
Yeah,
group.
you're
Oh.
good
Denrick.
here.
Yeah, you're Denrick.
I wanted to interrupt him, but that's all right.
You did.
Good morning.
Actually, so.
Oh,
Good morning,
sir,
companions.
Denrick.
How did you
Good
sleep?
morning.
I slept
Good,
quite well. These beds here are very nice, and after
Probably.
being on the road for so long, it's quite enjoyable to have somewhere comfortable to rest.
Absolutely,
You
probably
do.
one of the best sleeps I've had. Ever.
All right.
Yes.
Well, should we set out?
Yeah, Levesky, if I remember. Levesky
Yes,
is
I
he the
think
one
we
who
should
has
go
the
find Leveski's.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, though, we absolutely have to go over to Scrappers. I have to see this.
Rappers.
Oh, that is definitely the second shot.
Oh,
or the second
Scavengers,
stop.
my bad.
I thought I had it wrong myself. Yeah, okay.
Scavengers Emporium Goods.
Scavenge.
Suppose we could
Goods
rummage around there.
Goods Emporium.
All right, so with that, as you guys go ahead and make your way to Levesky's winter clothes and cloaks. So as you all three enter out into the space, you definitely makes you double down on the fact that getting winter clothing is definitely going to be beneficial, as it is definitely very cold. It is a little bit warmer as the sun. You can tell that the sun as it strikes you guys, strikes you guys in the face. It does warm up a little bit, but then it is quickly negated by the winds that kind of flutter through over the walls of Grimtol Hold. And I think at this point, as you guys are now actually into the common space of the hold itself, I will kind of explain the setup of it. So the walls itself kind of create like a hexagonal kind of shape of the actual hold itself. So it kind of comes like you have like the base of it at the bottom. That's where the main gate was, and then it has a kind of hexagons up to this. It has diagonals back, and then tops off at the top, right? So it's about a hexagon-ish shape. Towards the top portion of the actual shape of the walls, that is where the large hold of where the Lord stays is located at the top portion of it, and it is like a walled off subsection that has like a large kind of it's like a miniature castle. It's not like as grandiose as a castle, but it definitely is fortified. It has tall walls. It has some kind of turrets and stuff and battlements, but it's not like super insane, which you would know of grandiose castles, Sir Denrick, coming from the Kingdom of Weston.
I would.
You would definitely know. So it's on a smaller scale of that. However, the general makeup of a lot of the streets as you enter up to the main road that kind of goes up, a lot of the streets, they almost go into like kind of half crescents as they kind of go up like this, and there are like other roads that kind of divide or they kind of bridge to the next one. So a lot of the main streets kind of go like crescent, and then there's another crescent, and it kind of crescents up as it works its way towards the hold itself and like the walled off section.
Everything kind of like puddles out up from the hold.
Exactly. As it kind of crescents out, and eventually makes its way towards the base and then exiting out. And just asking around, you do know that winter clothes and cloaks, it will be towards the front of the town itself, or of the city itself. It is kind of towards the main gate a little bit. So as you guys are navigating your way down that way, interrupt me if there's anything you'd like to do. But as you're making your way, you do see there are a lot of individuals out. Not as much as a normal town, like in the south would be. There are some individuals, they are all bundled heavily. They kind of have like cloaks over their head, or they have like wrappings or of sorts. They kind of have like things pull up over their face. And it's just, you know, people just kind of braving the elements here. You do see that there are a couple individuals early out. There's not a thick layer of snow, but it did snow kind of briefly, and there are already people out there kind of shoveling, moving it off to the side, and there's large kind of heaps off to the sides, at which point you could, I would say on average, the mounds of snow that kind of get pushed off to the side is probably about a foot to maybe 2. And so you're definitely, and it's just like, and as they continue to push it, just keeps getting higher and higher. A lot of buildings have like large mounds next to it, kind of almost encasing it, or like starting to kind of create a foundation that supports the, you know, the exterior of it. You see icicles kind of hanging off roofs, thin layers of ice kind of scattering across the rooftops in the cold kind of morning. But yeah, as you guys are navigating your way, eventually you do. Go ahead.
We appear to be foreigners.
I would say definitely, mainly because of the difference in attire. I would say all of you, like, a couple of you did prepare in the sense of, like, you know, I'm gonna be somewhere cold, and you kind of maybe bundled up a little bit, but they're like, they have like thick like fur like clothes on that you can see is insulated. A lot of times you can see like the shirts, they'll have like kind of fur like lining the collar and whatnot. It is definitely a very rugged look. A lot of this, like, it doesn't, like in some cities, you know, like there's a lot of elegance and people are wearing dresses and whatnot, but here it's just like survival. They're like wearing coats, thick coats, whatever they can do just to make, you know, step outside and do what they need to do for the day.
This is a Carhartt town. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, yeah. And then
does anyone look at us weird? Call us a milk drinker.
I would say that you do catch some interesting glances, mainly probably because of the fact that you are very underdressed and you guys are kind of a little bit more of a ragtag group, especially you. You do catch some more glances than other individuals there, Morello, only because you are obviously a Dragonborn. I mean, it's nothing necessarily out of your understanding.
I was about to say, do I actually see any more Dragonborn anywhere in town?
I was gonna ask about like the kind of the race mix up of the people here.
Yeah.
Mix up
everyone, I would say that everyone go ahead and make perception checks. Or I would say if you want to look for something specific, make a perception check, and if you're just chilling, then you're just chilling.
I'll look around.
Yeah, I'm gonna look for some Dragonborn specifically because it's very rare.
Chilling.
I think for me to see some.
Sounds good.
Nat 20.
Nice.
Okay.
Show me my kin.
Where I call upon thee.
Yeah.
Do I see a kobold? Can I snag one? Real quick?
Can I snag a kobold? Oh yeah.
I got I got 21.
I got 23.
Okay, so since Morello, you do look around.
I'm gonna die.
You do look around, and there are not. You do end up seeing 2 Dragonborn. Both of them. One of them being of the white variation when it comes to their scales and whatnot. You can kind of see underneath their kind of their cloaks and whatnot. And then another one you do see of a silver color. But you kind of see them kind of amongst the streets. You kind of see them in passing. You kind of the silver one you do see kind of passing by you as you kind of make eye contact with them, and they kind of just nod, you know, in like, you know, respect. And then the white one you saw as you kind of like passed by. You kind of saw a more heavily built frame, and as you guys were kind of walking and veering through, you kind of looked over and you can see, like, you know, the face of a Dragonborn as well. As you kind of, you don't necessarily make eye contact, but you see kind of satisfy your suspicion and turn back. Virden, what are you looking for?
I'm looking for elves in general. Just seeing like the elf makeup here.
So I would say you do see a couple different elves. You do see what would be the kind of just normal kind of wood elves of like kind of lineage. But then you also do see a couple of elves similar to you in the sense of like unique, but they would be snow elves. So they would be kind of, yeah, they kind of the more like kind of pale, kind of more like white kind of features of hair and whatnot.
Yeah, so like when I'm wearing my hood, I don't look that different from them.
Right.
Okay, cool. That's pretty much it. Just seeing how much I blend.
Yeah. At one point you do
something to say to those snow elves.
At one point you do actually see a Goliath kind of just kind of walking by, which is a little bit curious considering that you guys kind of heard a little bit about like the tribes of Goliaths and whatnot, and so it's a little bit interesting to see that there's you know at least one that you saw kind of embedded in society as well. What were you looking? What were you looking for, Denrick?
I guess for my perception, I would like to take note of the Goliath and the sense that if we were to run into, like, say, a tribe of them, then there is a possibility we could, like, reason with them, and it's not just fight them.
So you're just taking a mental note of like seeing him.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
You know, because you run into goblins or something, you know. they're not-
Actually, is he like near enough to us?
He's kind of walking like towards off to the left hand side, kind of bladed along the street itself, like along like the exterior of it, where like a lot of the snow pile is piling up and stuff.
Yeah, so I find it curious.
Yeah, I guess are the locals like seemingly like avoiding it a little bit? Like is it like seem like a social taboo that he's here?
Nope.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's chilling.
That works. Yeah.
All right, so as you guys are kind of just taking in the sights, taking in the scenes and whatnot, you eventually do find yourself kind of located a little bit more in the southern portion of Grimtol Hold, where you do come across kind of like a little bit larger kind of one-story building, and you see at the front of it, you see like a sign, kind of signpost hanging, and it says "Winter Clothes and Cloaks."
Yeah.
Well, so we
I-
start
I-
building up.
This is probably it. I
Mm,
think I do
I'm
that.
guessing
Like, no
from
one in
the
particular. Yeah. I
Let's
didn't
get
know
out
if you
of
guys
the
could read. I
cold.
don't like to judge. I don't like to make assumptions.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. I guess I'll just make my way in then.
So as you all kind of one by one make your way into this store itself, immediately you're hit with well, obviously the warmth, because anywhere you go inside is going to be warm, warmer than the exterior. As you make your way inside, you immediately are hit with a bunch of different like kind of leathery smells, kind of like oils, a lot of things that you probably would be used for like taxidermying things, and just like getting things to be refined, like that you'd use for first to be like refined and make sure that they hold up in the elements themselves. As you walk in, you do see a bunch of different kind of aisles. What are we doing? We showing dice? You do see a bunch of different aisles and just kind of like cloaks, kind of and leathers and different rows of different variations of coloring of leathers, like different apparel items that are kind of lined with leather, kind of varying from like some that you can see that are kind of just like barely insulated to like full on like winter coats that are super thick. You see on like kind of the back far wall, you see like there are a bunch of cloaks hanging off to one side, kind of up like off some like posts that are that hold like the actual like tying portion of it, and off to the right hand side, kind of almost you can kind of see over a lot of the space inside. You do see an individual kind of leaning over not a desk but a counter space off to the right hand side in the immediate off the right hand side towards the right wall. You do see this individual kind of leaning over. You see that they do have kind of longer hair. Longer than Axov's for sure. It's kind of like kind of dirty blonde as it kind of like hangs over towards about almost like mid like kind of upper chest, as you can. It's kind of start like obscuring the face a little bit, and as he kind of like looks up, kind of droops it back over the back of the head. You see that it has kind of like a little bit longer of a beard, and kind of props himself up on both arms and goes, "Oh, welcome to Loveski's. What can I do for you, adventurers, it seems, to some degree?" As he kind of crosses his arms.
I'll approach and say, we were referred by, fuck, what's his name? We were referred by Axov, that you do good work and can help prepare us for
Oh, yes.
travels through the wastes.
I do know of Axel. Yes, he is a returning patron of my store, and we get along. We swap drinks every once in a while. So, yes, when you see him next, go ahead and give him my regards. It's been some time. We should probably catch up. But yes, I am. This is the Winter Clothes and Cloaks. I am one of the primary proprietors of this kind of equipment in town. And so, if you are looking for things of the warming nature, then you have come to the right place. So please tell me, what are you looking for specifically?
Uh, are you able to do alterations or well, I guess adding insulation to?
He kind of chuckles. Absolutely, of course I can. I'm Levensky. I am one of the most top craftsmen when it comes to furs and embedding them into clothes or making them out of clothes. So,
What if the piece of clothing is magical?
well, that is a very interesting predicament. I do not think I've had to deal with that. But I can obviously give it a shot if that is the case.
Absolutely.
What
I would very much like
what specifically is it?
this cloak right here. Now we'll take off the my cloak of spiteful stars, and I'll give it to him to look at.
As you kind of set it on the counter itself, he kind of looks it over. This is immaculately crafted. Interesting. All I can do is tell you that I will try my best, but I do think that I do not have much experience with magical items, so I think, how about this? Let's go ahead and put it to the test. And as he kind of walks kind of into a back kind of closet that you saw, it's kind of half open. He does pull out a couple of tools, and he has this, and it's kind of as it's laying out there, he does try to like manipulate the cloak with these tools. At which point, as he kind of starts to like do like some punching or tries to like get something get like a hole or something prepared into it. As he like retrieves the tools back, there's no obvious damage to the cloak itself. Well, you see, that might probably be a problem if I cannot manipulate the fabric itself. So, unfortunately, as he kind of sets his tools off to the side, you're probably out of luck.
Oh, shit.
Well, Zahir, might I suggest you just wear another cloak over that one?
Probably
That would
under.
be
Probably
ideal.
under would be better for insulation. But
Yeah.
I was about to. I would
It's up
like
to you.
to try and grab something to go under my armor as well. So if he has something like that, that might be useful for you as well.
Yes, so actually, let me go
Yes.
ahead and kind of outline the things that I have in my store. So I do have a varying. I kind of break it down into different categories because it is probably simpler to talking to individuals and at least lining it up, and then you can obviously get additional things or go individual. But I typically like to have, so I have insulation lined, which I can either line your armor itself or your items or your fabric of clothing, or I can just give you the equivalent of what that would be as undergarments itself. After that, I do have insulated, which same thing. It is going to be, either I will alter your clothing or your items directly, or you can just go ahead and wear the equivalent of that underneath your armor or whatever it is that you are looking to equip. I do have thick insulation, which is obviously a step up of that, where it's a lot of kind of thicker furs, and I do end up a lot of that kind of thing. It is generally easier just to go ahead and buy the clothing outright instead of having that actually embedded into your items or your clothing, only because it can get fairly uncomfortable in the fact that it starts to hug your body just because of how dense the actual the furs are themselves. And then I have the extremely thick insulation, which only comes in articles of clothing. I cannot actually embed that into your gear itself.
Well, how much would it cost to get some insulated clothing in my size?
As he kind of
If you
looks you up
could,
and
yeah.
down. Well, you are obviously bigger than most individuals that come into my store, besides maybe the Goliaths. However, Loveski obviously can do this. For insulated in your size, I will have to. It will probably run you. It will run you about 35 gold pieces.
I think at that point I chime in is like, and what about that in my size?
He looks over to you and, well, absolutely. I mean, you're probably only a step up of a kid or something along those lines. Probably like like a teenage boy. So absolutely,
Okay.
that is easily enough done.
And how much would that be?
For I would say, obviously less material needed. So I would say probably runs you about 30 gold pieces.
Okay. Well, I think Vernon is not bothered by the direct insults to his stature, hearing a 5 gold discount. then it's like, then yeah, I'll, some insulation I could wear under this, point to my studded leather armor, would be great. And then also, I suppose I'll look at a cloak while I'm here, if that's all right. Do you have anything that's either really, really, really white or really, really, really black? I'll settle for really, really, really gray.
Well, as a matter of fact, I have all three of those things. The winter rolls are very nice for their very white and vibrant cloaks that allow you to blend into the snow. However, also I have black bear that is of the dark variety, and then I have something in between. So it's a matter of what you would like.
I think I'll do white. How much would that cost?
Let me go ahead and check the ledgers. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Oh, hold on. Oh, there we go. So for the I have three different categories of cloak. I have fur lined, I have fur coated, and then I have fur coated thick. Obviously I have the thick. It is the thickest of furs. It will keep you nice and toasty. However, each of the incremental cloaks, they will obviously give you more warmth. However, it could be very difficult to maneuver quickly or be dexterous while wearing these cloaks themselves. So I just want to keep that in mind. However, my fur-lined cloaks, they'll be 2 gold pieces. My fur-coated will be 6 gold. And my fur-coated thick will be 10 gold pieces.
I guess... Yeah, I guess at that point I'd ask, well, how... They're cloaks, so how quick might I be able to take it off if I need to react to, say, the wolf that you then got the material from?
I mean, they are obviously, I would say the farther you go up, the little bit longer it takes, only because it's a little bit more sturdy of kind of string that it is required to hold it, because you're obviously holding more fabric. However, it is not very difficult, I would say, as long as you do not tie it super elaborate and do not fuck with it. And I do not see any issues.
Okay. So then, I guess, Jared, mechanically, how long will it take me to drop this in combat?
I would say it'd probably be a bonus action for the fur lined, and then fur coated and fur coated thick. I would say it's probably going to be an action.
So both of them would be in action, though. Fur and fur coated thick.
Fur coated thick would both be in action, correct?
Cool. In that case, I'll buy a white fur coated thick, as well as the insulated under. Or I guess insulated clothing that I'll put my armor on.
Can all of you, because it will be kind of pertinent for sure down the road, if y'all would actually all, when you would go into the Discord, and then just go ahead and under chatting and discussions, just go ahead and tell me the lineup. Tell me what category of clothes that you got, and then what cloak you got.
You want it under chatting or visuals and
Chatting.
visuals?
Just under chatting. Under chatting's fine.
I mean, rules and mechanics.
Chatting.
Chatting's fine.
Okay.
Chatting.
Yeah, chatting's fine.
I'm already written most of it.
So that's good for you two. For the both of you, what would you like?
Is there anything that you have that's insulated that would be able to probably fit on me underneath my cloak?
Underneath your cloak, as in, I would say if you would like. Are you talking about to wear 2 at once? Is that what I
would like to wear some insulated underneath my cloak.
Some normal clothes, similar to under my armor. You know, like a blanket.
Something that I can
That's
wear
right.
that I
So-
can
so
also
here, do
fit
you not wear
my
armor?
cloak over. I have my breastplate.
Oh, okay.
That's about it.
So you wanting this to go underneath your clothes themselves?
And just the cloak, because I wear the cloak over everything else. Or underneath my armor. I don't...
Well, I do not have just, I mean, I have yes, I mean, I have like overcoats and things like that you could easily get over your cloak. No worries, yes. If that is what you're saying.
I guess I'm just wondering if I'm able to still utilize my cloak while wearing this if it's over.
So are you talking about wearing like a cloak underneath your cloak so that you can like still have your magical item on top, but then you still have something underneath, so it's like So yeah, so
Yes.
if you get a fur lined, so if you get the fur lined, it should not impede your You should be able to wear both at the same time without choking yourself out or doing anything too promiscuous.
I guess that will work. And
Can
then I would like an extremely thick. Where the hell am I?
You want?
Yes, and then I would like a coat, a coat that is extremely thick insulation.
So the thing with that, so the extremely thick insulation, like you can't necessarily just get a Coke. It's like a category of like a culmination of things. So you would still need to get
Well,
like.
yeah, then I mean like just like the whole
The
getup.
thickest cloak, I think is what. Oh, you're talking about the full.
You
cloak,
want the
thick?
extremely thick insulation like clothes, or do you want the thick
Yeah,
cloak?
set.
I'd like the full fit, and then some insulated for whenever I need to move around.
Okay, so you
Like a set of clothes.
You straight Winnie the Pooh in it out there? Or?
What? No, I have my. God, I lose it every time.
Okay, y'all can also go into the mechanics portion of the Discord and also look at the table that I have for you, or that I sent, because that would probably help clarify. Oh wait, did I not send that?
You
No,
didn't send the
it's
cloak
in
one.
there.
Yeah.
I didn't send the cloak, but I did send the. So you want the extremely thick insulation?
Well, I'd like a set of insulation lined to wear underneath everything.
Okay.
And then
Separate
the
set
whole-
of
and the whole-
thickest clothes.
yeah, then another set for the thickest.
Okay.
The
Should buy 2 pairs.
second set of level 4 Under Armor.
Okay.
Hold gear.
Good. Can I have
Sounds
level
good.
4 long
I'd like the
johns?
whole
Well, so
8 levels of.
So that's the thing. So the extremely thick is more like I would say insulation line and insulated. Those can be kind of more like fashion underneath, or like that can be a little bit more maneuvered. Whereas the thick insulation, the extremely thick, that's more like overcoats. That is more like like pants and stuff. That is like super like intended to resist the cold. So that sounds good. All right, that sounds easily enough. And then you, sir, and you're heavily clad individual. What can I get for you?
Well, greetings, Levesky. I am Sir Denric.
It is a
As
pleasure.
I nod. As you may have gathered, we are going on a journey across the Frost Trail, and
His eyes kind of wide. He's like, the Frost Trail, at this time of winter. What?
yes,
By
that
the
is,
whatever for? What? That is foolhardy.
well, that is our business. But I figured I would mention it because you seem to be well versed in your trade, and you may know of or you may have specialty gear. So, do you have anything of the sort for folks who may be foolhardy enough to attempt this trek?
I mean, I've already kind of outlined the majority of the things that I sell clothing-wise. I also have blankets. I also have things along that nature when it comes to actual bedding, if you're looking for something like that. But I've already kind of explained my categories of gear.
Okay. What of do you carry tents?
I do not carry tents, no.
Okay.
I mainly
That
deal.
would be that'd be a different fabric.
You would probably want to. Yes, it would. It would be. We do not make fur tents only because would be a little bit harder, and it would be more difficult to kind of keep the structure of the tent itself. So that is not something I deal with. However, like I said, I do have bedding that you could obviously put inside the tent. That would equate to almost the same thing.
That will do nicely. We would definitely need some of that.
Alrighty then.
And then suppose on that note, I would if you would, I would like to insulate, or I guess have an insulated layer underneath my armor, and a dummy thick fur coat, fur cloak, if you would.
Dummy thick.
That is easily enough. Okay, so out of character, let's go ahead and go down the lineup here. So, let me go ahead. Did everyone post everything that they wanted in the...
I think everyone's had the same.
I think we were pretty close. At least I think make sure I say it right. Morello and I did about the same for our setup.
And then, how much would it be for a separate set of the most insulated garments? One that would not be worn under armor, per se.
Sorry, what was your question?
Mr. Lebes.
Well-
I said, how much would it be for, like, a separate set of, like, just very insulated clothing? The one you said could not be worn under armor.
Very insulated clothing would be, well, thick, or do you want extremely thick?
Extremely thick.
It'd be, how much would it be?
Like a separate set.
Yeah,
so, like,
it'd be-
something that you could, like, if you weren't wearing your armor or weren't wearing your clothes or, like...
Yeah, it'd be 90.
Whatever
It'd be
reason.
90 gold for all that.
Okay.
All right, so I'm just gonna go down the line. So Morello, you want an insulated cloak. That will be, so you're gonna take off this. Goodness gracious. So so an insulated cloak will be. Okay, hold on. I don't have an insulated cloak. Oh no, you want it? Wait, why'd you say insulated cloak twice? You said insulated cloak and fur-lined cloak.
You're muted, by the way, right now, Logan.
Right there. Sorry,
Yeah,
my
that'll
fan
help,
was
that'll
going
help,
off on
yeah.
my laptop. I meant to type insulated clothes accidentally. I was thinking cloak while I was typing it, so I just typed insulated cloak. I want just normal insulated clothes for 35.
Okay. So yeah, insulated clothes will be 35, and then your fur-lined cloak, right, will be 2.
And that's a bonus action to take off that one?
Yeah.
Correct? Perfect. Cool.
All right, so that'll be what? That'll be 30. God, why did I have these so far away? So you have insulated, which will be 35, and then you'll have your cloak, which is 2, so that's 37 gold pieces for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you now have insulated. You have just you can put like insulated set of clothes, and then you can have, and then in your inventory as well, you can have what the? This is annoying. And then you have fur-lined cloak, and then for you, Virden, you have insulated clothing. It's a little cheaper, so you have the same thing as Morello, and then you have a white, thick fur cloak. Which okay, so yeah, you're good. So that'll be 40 gold pieces for you. Take that out, and then you can annotate similarly. And then, so if I'm understanding correctly for you, Zahir, you want insulation lined. Is that insulation lined clothes, or is that a cloak?
What's the difference?
One's clothing, one's a cloak.
What's the difference between insulated clothing underneath your armor and lining your armor?
Okay, so mechanically, you have your clothes, which will basically, it'll adjust how long you can be out in the weather, and then what you're rolling with, whether it's advantage or normally when it comes to con saves. And then you have a cloak that just gives you like an additional bonus, so either +1, +2, +3 to your con save when you make that save.
Okay.
The cloaks are a trade-off, though, because you either get more con save or you take away dex. Obviously, you could strip it, but when it comes to actually making those checks. So, are you wanting an insulation line clothing as well as a set of extremely thick insulation clothing? You're muted.
Yeah. So I would, extremely thick.
Okay, so you don't want a cloak because you can't take off your insulation line clothes.
Yes. Well, that doesn't provide negatives. I want to be able to doff the extremely thick insulated clothes.
That would take some time. So if you're just wanting to like strip off your clothes, you can't necessarily do that because you're wearing it.
Okay, then. And can I wear a set of insulated gear underneath my armor?
Hold on, let me bring it back up. So yes, so we're kind of getting to the mechanics of this, which is all good. So you can wear insulation lined or insulated underneath your armor.
Okay.
So if that's what
then nix the lined and go straight to the insulated.
Okay, so you're just gonna have insulated. You're just gonna have insulated gear. Now, for those getting insulated, are y'all wanting like pieces of clothing that go underneath, or are you getting it lined?
Mechanically, is it different? Is my question.
No.
Okay.
Not really.
Okay, so in that case, for the interest of time, I think I wouldn't get it. I would just make sure it fit while I was there.
Yeah.
but that's about
Yeah.
it. But also, I would insist my insulated clothing includes a black turtleneck.
That's okay. Okay. For
Any
flavor,
preference?
yeah. For flavor,
You lose
that's
a lot
fine.
of heat in the neck. You lose a lot of heat.
Yeah,
in the neck.
yeah, I got you. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I'm
So,
also on Hero Forge right now, and it fits better.
okay, sounds good. So,
I have like a white scarf over here too for my clothing.
okay, so for Morello, you have insulated. That's going to be just like things you put on, and you put things overneath. And then Virden, you have same thing. You have anything over. You can put anything underneath, but it's kind of like your clothes going underneath your regular clothes. And then for Yuza here, it's going to be same thing, right? Underneath your armor and your cloak and everything.
Yeah.
So
and I guess, is there anything that we can get that is easy to take off?
They'd be the
But
cloaks.
still keep us warm? Yeah,
Yes.
Then I would like a thick cloak.
Okay,
Or
and,
however.
and so that's what I was thinking you were asking earlier. So basically
Yeah.
what I was saying is for you to be able to kind of like not be like choked the fuck out and like be able to use it, you can get a fur-lined cloak that is thin enough that you can go underneath your cloak, so that's kind of adds like a layer between, you know, a layer, but it's not gonna, because I understand like mechanically for your magic item, it needs to kind of be on the
I mean,
exterior.
Well, it's fine going over because once I take it off, then I can utilize it.
Well, then there you go. So, what kind of cloak do you want? Do you want fur lined, fur coated, or fur coated thick?
Dummy.
Then let's go thick. The biggest.
Okay, so that's gonna be 45 gold pieces for you,
Okay.
and then you.
And then for the regular insulated, I'm not the smallest, so would it still be the 35?
Yeah, it's gonna be the 35.
Okay.
Shout out to my big boys getting me a discount, by the way. Because in the Discord it
Absolutely.
says 35. As soon as you said the size for him, I'm like, well, I'm pretty small. Let's see,
Well,
let's see if I
actually-
can get a deal real quick.
Being absolutely massive for extra discounts for you is wonderful. I got you.
So now at this
Be
point,
huge.
let me go ahead and kind of hold on.
Please.
3.
I'm going to shift now the cameras back over here. Okay, so that's all settled for y'all. Now, lastly, for you, what exactly would you like, Sir Denrick, as you have so graciously introduced yourself? What would you like?
Well, for starters, I would like a insulated underlayer for wearing underneath my armor.
Alrighty, that is easy enough.
And your heaviest fur cloak, if you would.
That is easy enough.
And how much are those blankets you were offering?
The blankets themselves would be 5 gold pieces.
Okay. And I kind of gesture to the party. Is that something everyone would be interested in? It may not. It may come in
Sure.
handy.
One more time, sorry.
Like a blanket.
That's,
I just asked you guys if
Yeah.
that's something you guys would want.
I imagine you offer
think-
the best ones in the town.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
think,
Right?
Absolutely, this is Leveski's. I only deal in the most premium of furs, and I only make the most premium of quality products. That is my my trade.
Yeah.
Then of course.
Yeah, we're out of
Hold on.
towners, so that doesn't mean a lot. But yeah, I think
He kind of just. Well, it will mean a lot when you're out there on the frost trail and you're not freezing your absolute ass off because you come to my store and you have bought my goods.
And we are most thankful for that.
But I guess when we come back, we'll be sure to thank you about it. But no, I think a blanket or something to keep us extra warm during the extra cold nights is probably a good call there, Sir Denrick.
Yes, cool. I do not. I have a bedroll, but I'm not quite sure if that would keep me warm throughout the night. So I will also go on a blanket.
I actually also, if you do not necessarily just want a blanket, I do actually offer bedrolls that are fur lined as well, if you would just like that.
Could you line my bedroll that I already have?
If it is of significant value to you and you would like me to, absolutely. But
Or could I like trade in my bedroll for a lined one, so you could line that one?
I do
and
not
could-
I do not require bedrolls. But if you would like to purchase one of mine, then absolutely.
In the interest of time, Leveski, How much longer does it take to line gear we already have than to just buy something new from you?
Lining gear, well, depends on what gear you want actually lined itself. It does not take very long in the sense of probably a couple of days, but if you're, as he kind of looks you up and down, if you're talking about potentially lining your armor, that will definitely take probably closer to a week. 5 to 7 days, give or take how busy I am.
Okay. Well, we may not have that much time, so we may need to just buy everything separately. What do you guys think?
That is
What do
easy,
you
easy enough.
think, companions?
I think it would be smarter to just buy something that can go under your armor. So when you take off your armor too for the colder nights, you still have something to keep you warm.
In that sense, we may actually be able to set out tomorrow.
Well, yes,
That-
I believe that was the plan if we were able to.
Is the meeting that we have scheduled tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow early or late morning.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think with that, how much are the bedrolls and how much are the fur lines, or how much are the fur line bedrolls and how much are the blankets?
So the blankets are going to be 5 gold pieces, the bedrolls will be 10.
I'll get a bedroll.
How much I guess weight are we talking about for those?
Damn, you're getting real technical right now, huh?
We're playing Oregon Trail, you know. We need to make sure.
Will
we
it encumber the ox?
I definitely...
how-
The Leveskis... At the Leveskis, I obviously make the most
Well, too.
quality products, and so I do make sure that they're not super burdening or super cumbersome. And so I'd put them probably maybe at roughly 10 pounds for the bedroll. Maybe it's probably a little bit less, 8 to 10 pounds. Not super crazy.
Honestly, I'll get the bedroll and the blanket.
Excellent. I'm happy to hear that. That will be 15 gold pieces.
I will just pick up a blanket from you.
I think
since
as
I have
I'm
a
as
bedroll.
I'm squeezing into my turtle.
You're like, your hands are up here. They're like,
Yeah, like I can't see him. I'm still in the turtleneck, just floppy,
Start-
floppy sleeves, finger guns.
You're like, and you just start running. Run into the wall.
Well,
So-
my mentality is like if you're really cold, you know, you can put the blanket over the turtleneck, or depending on the ground, you put it underneath you. You know, like just a little bit. If things are bad, you know,
Turtleneck lined cloak.
turtleneck line cloak.
so
Doffed,
That will,
I'll say
that'll be 5 gold pieces from you, Dragonborn, for the blankets.
The
I will
name is
do,
Borderlo. It's nice to meet you.
Oh, this is a pleasure.
And I would do the same. I'll take the bedroll and the blanket.
15 gold pieces.
I will go with just the bedroll.
10 gold pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. And at this point, as you guys,
He's making a kill in here today. I'll say that.
yeah,
he's moving
he's all right.
product.
as you guys kind of approach, he kind of seemed a little bit standoffish, but now he's kind of like, oh, and he's kind of like, I'd say at this
Like, you
point,
guys are serious.
as you guys have kind of like kind of put the coin out, you know, and have discussed the things that you guys are going to purchase. You guys then spend probably the next 45 minutes to an hour, kind of going through the store, getting the right sizes, getting the right things. Kind of, you know, there is dressing rooms kind of off to the side, like little kind of like cubbies where you guys can kind of doff some of the gear to make sure it fits properly underneath your equipment, making sure it's not too like bulky or thick. And yeah, and then you try the cloaks on, and you kind of, you know, test out the you kind of feel the bed rolls, which are very nice. It's like a nice kind of exterior shell that's kind of like, you know, of leather, and it kind of has like that nice kind of reflection that kind of will help with like the durability of it, where it kind of will like negate some of the mud or some of the elements. But then you have the inside that's completely fur lined, super soft. And so it's very nicely well made, and the blankets as well, just some fur blankets that you can bring with. So go make sure you annotated everything appropriately.
Yes.
So as far as I know, everyone went with insulated, and I want to say everyone went with a thick fur cloak, right?
Yeah.
I went with the fur line. I went for the light one.
Okay, you went for the light one. Okay,
Did you,
then
did you get mine?
what?
My stuff?
Yeah, you wanted insulated, right?
Yeah. And then,
And then a heavy fur cloak.
And I would like a second set of normal insulated clothing.
Okay, so you want 2 sets of insulated.
Yeah, like insulated clothing that could be worn underneath the armor.
Yeah, the insulated the first set of insulation is the clothing that you could do that anyway.
Yes.
Okay, so you
I
only
would
need
like
one
a
set.
second set.
Oh,
I
okay.
would like a second set.
Okay, then.
And then does he have like a waterproof sack? Water resistant sack?
That is
Like REI?
How
As
much
a
like REI is
As a
these
matter
days?
of fact, he I do not actually have that. If you, I do that. That would probably be more specifically sold at the general store if you're looking for something
Okay,
like that.
thank you.
But if you want 2 sets, then I don't know if you've already marked it down, but you're at 45, but a second set's obviously not 35, so you would be at 80. 80 gold pieces total because you have 2 sets of insulated clothing for you.
3 sets of insulated clothing.
And a heavy fur
One
cloak.
heavy fur cloak.
And then
1 bedroll.
Yep.
And 1 blanket. That's 80.
No, that's gonna be 95. Has everyone already marked off all their money? Or do we need to go through all this again? Okay.
95.
I just said I'd love to go through all this again.
Yeah.
It was
just-
15 for the total sleep here, right?
Yeah, so if you want a bedroll and blanket, 15. So Todd, you're at 90. Or Denrick, you're at 90 off from everything.
And this includes like gloves, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing is, I was like, I'll make and I was like, no, cloaks are the biggest.
Yeah.
Cloaks are the biggest subsection of thing.
Yeah, we
Every
don't
like
really
a
do that.
full installation is like gloves, like some like things like
Yeah,
some
yeah, I
socks
figured
and
it-
stuff. So you don't need to. We're not gonna get too like
and
nitpicky
this-
with pieces. That's me.
Yeah, in this environment, I assume it'd be like a given. You're not gonna walk around with no gloves or shoes.
Exactly. So,
Okay. So 95?
hey, why'd you turn like that? Hey, that was scary.
Because I don't have any shoes.
Oh.
I can't put on any.
Dumbass. You can
Physically
get shoes
cannot,
tailored.
Hey, he does actually have
Yeah,
shoes. He has shoes that would
You
fit
got
you.
sandals.
He has shoes
I
that.
can't put on any on my mini, so I'm just not wearing any shoes. It physically won't let me as a dragonborn.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that is fair, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't have shoes.
Hero Forge is about to get you killed. Is what I'm hearing. My man's gonna
Nah, I
be.
run hot. I'm a fire
Yeah, he's
dragon.
gonna
I'm
be
good.
walking, and then his feet are just gonna detach.
That's kind of cool.
They don't go
Well,
back up.
if that and
Does he
it's
have a difference?
it's about an hour. What's up?
Does he have a resistance to cold since he's a dragonborn or no?
No.
I do not. I have a resistance to fire because I am brass.
That would be
Well, I
very
mean, like-
helpful, actually.
Yep.
I mean, like,
You like trip in the night, you know?
Yes, and then I
Yeah,
also
we
have my
love
Drake Warden's armor, which is very nice.
All right, let's go ahead and keep the pacing going here. I would like to try to get a couple more stores done.
Yep.
So it was an absolute pleasure with doing business with a lot of you, and I wish you the best on your very foolhardy journey across the Frost Trail at this time. But obviously, you have your reasons, and so I'm hoping that my gear will get you there from point A to point B, safe and sound.
Well, thank you,
thank you.
Levesky.
Yes,
We
thank you very
will.
much.
This is most appreciated. Upon our safe return, we will have to offer you a drink. That is, if we make it.
He kind of gestures with his arms, kind of like in a theatric way, like, well, then I'll be expecting drinks, absolutely.
But yes, thanks to this gear, I assume we will be. We will have our best chance.
And with that, as you guys kind of all go ahead and turn and exit the store itself, you guys make your way back to. And now, did y'all put it on, or did y'all just kind of like have it like
Yeah, I
shop
have
it?
mine on
Essentially,
now.
if I tried it on, I would have kept the liner, then would have kept the cloak.
Okay, yeah. So I would assume that y'all weren't really necessarily best suited. So now as you exit out, it's definitely you can. This gear will be very helpful in your trek as it is now already significantly warmer and you're already
No,
feeling more
I'll definitely
comfortable.
wear it.
I think I'll say out loud, finally, I don't look poor. As I look around and see that we actually blend in with the environment, it's like, oh my god.
Yeah. I would like all of you to go ahead and make perception checks for me.
A 12.
Natural
nice.
one.
14.
16.
Holy damn. Okay, I would say.
MC.
Okay, so I would say that as you all kind of exit, you all kind of like checking each other out, kind of seeing how it all fits and whatnot. I would say at this point, Sir Denrick, as you're kind of looking around, you do actually see on this part of town, just probably another handful of blocks down, you do see, and you would recognize this because as you entered in, you do see the stables, the massive stables that is towards the almost dead entrance of this to this city. You do see the large stables that you would that you'd be acquiring your oxes from, or oxes from potentially.
So do we want to get our mounts last? We have a few more stops before, correct?
I think we can look at them now, but I'm assuming
Yeah,
food will be
if we're-
expensive. So I was planning on buying mine on the way out.
Well, I
You know, but
imagine
we can check it out.
knowing what
Mm.
they can carry is
Yeah.
probably important.
We'll
so
get a
we know
lot.
what to
Yeah, that's a
buy.
good point. We'll get a lot of our information on our limits.
Should
um,
we
check
go
it out.
inquire?
Yes, that
Yeah,
Yeah, why
seems
not? Why
smart.
not?
All right,
If
let us
I
make our way.
were to hand you over some gold, would you be able to inquire for me? I need to go pick up a few more clerical and mythical things myself. And so I figured since that would just be something I need to pick up, I could quickly run to there.
Oh yes, we can most certainly do that. And it is how much gold?
It's 100, I think is what I have noted down. Yeah, 100 gold for it. So
Okay.
I'll pass over 100 gold to Sir Denrick, and I will meet you guys at Scavengers after you inquire there. Yes.
That sounds reasonable.
Yeah, sounds good.
Sweet. So then I'll start citing off to Bazaar's elixirs while they're going there.
Oh right, it was actually it was Bardaz.
What is that?
Bardaz.
Is that close?
Elixirs and brews.
Oh, I was planning on getting some, but
All right, so as
Do want
you
to send me with the list?
hang on a second.
yeah, you're good. So as you go ahead and kind of branch off and make your way back kind of deeper into town, the rest of your group goes ahead and makes their way over to the large stable area. So I will say, since Sir Denrick kind of pieced out for the time being, I'll go ahead and do you first, Morello.
Perfect.
All right. So for this, all right. So as you make your way over to the, you ask for a couple, some directions, and go ahead and make an investigation check for me. Ooh, I just cracked my knuckle.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell
I
yeah.
cracked my knuckle and I was like, ASMR stream, nice. So 3, it takes you a while. It takes you probably a good 30, 45 minutes before you're actually going in the right direction over there, as you kind of ask a couple of different people who, you saw a couple Dragonborns, but as you kind of go up to some different people, they kind of seem standoffish, and you're kind of just like, eh, and they're like, oh, okay, anyway, and they kind of fuck off. So, but eventually,
I cast the orb of light, the little spirit that I keep above my shoulder, and it's just like smiling to see if that helps people like me more.
it actually does the
Dude,
opposite,
pyrotechnics.
and people kind of get a little bit more standoffish, and you're just like, God. But eventually, you do find yourself to the actual establishment, which is it's a smaller, like single story, kind of more kind of like rectangular, where it's a little bit narrow at the front, and then goes back a little bit more than it is wide. And as you enter in, you do as you make your way, and also I would like to note that in the last store there was a hearth inside of the store itself, kind of mildly, and then as you entered into this one as well, you also see another hearth. You're kind of getting that there's probably a trend where a lot of these stores probably have some sort of means of warming them up. At which point you make your way in, and immediately there's not a whole lot of room to maneuver. As you step in, there's probably about maybe 15 feet, 20, probably about 15 to 20-ish feet to your right, probably about 10-ish feet to your front, and then there's just like a long kind of counter in front. And just kind of a little bit of space that you can kind of meander a little bit. Not like a selection of things necessarily to look at per se, but there's a couple of chairs where you can probably take a seat if you're waiting for your turn. But you do see kind of in front of this this counter there is some glass portions of it, and you do see kind of in one section you see some different vials and kind of canisters of glass canisters of what looks to be like potions, and then in another one you see that there are a handful of different like roots and like weird little like things that would be probably used for components for spells of some sort. And then just like towards like the farther end of it, towards the towards your right, you see that there's probably like alchemical components as well. And as you kind of step in, the kind of bell kind of or the like kind of rings. At which point you do see a silver dragonborn who is wearing like nicely covered blue robes as he kind of sitting at this desk. You see that he has kind of have some spectacles over his nose as he's looking down at a book. And you can see that he has small kind of like spines or like spikes kind of going down this head, and one down the middle and then two down the sides like this. And as they run back kind of perpendicularly to the back of his head and down his neck. At which point as you enter in, and you're only like about 10 feet from him, so he kind of like looks up. Oh, I say, it is a very interesting sight to see another dragonborn this far north. As he kind of closes the book and kind of stands up.
My friend, it has been quite a while since I have seen another dragonborn. It is very nice to see someone and not have them give me a strange look when I walk in.
I can definitely understand. I can understand that sentiment for sure. I mean, actually, as a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I saw you earlier in the streets.
I believe. Okay, yes, that's right. I thought that was you.
Yes, I am. As he kind of gestures out his hand, I am Bordaz.
I am Morello. It is nice to meet you.
It is an absolute pleasure to meet you. Yes, I am one of the only alchemists that there are in Grimtol Hold, and so I kind of have this niche little market that I kind of capitalized on this far north. So there may be few of us, but thankfully I've kind of cornerstoned the market to some degree.
Well, that is perfect. There's a few things that I'm looking to pick up here. Me and my friends, or well, I guess compatriots, are going out on the Frost Trail.
Okay.
To Snowstone. And so I just got back from another job, and I'll pull my component pouch from my back. And I have kind of run out of magical components to cast my holy spells.
Oh,
and I was looking for a bag that I could refill it with.
That is absolutely no issue when it comes to. I have plenty of components that I'm sure would fit the need that you are requiring. What exactly for components would you be needing?
I have no idea.
Okay, I mean, yeah, and then you can just.
Because I know a component pouch just for a small one would be 25 gold for a normal one through D&D traditionally, so that's assumed what I would
Yep,
get.
easy enough. You just kind of hey, I need this, component pouch, and then you guys kind of take a couple of minutes, and he kind of puts it all together and kind of ties it off, and everything as requested in your components pouch. Here you go.
Thank you. I do actually have a bit of a weird request. Do you happen to keep any diamonds around here?
Well, as a matter of fact, diamonds are obviously used more for clerical rituals and spells, and so I do keep a couple on hand in the odd chance that I do find myself in the presence of a cleric. So, as a matter of fact, I do. What kind of sized or worth diamond do you need?
I have about 300 gold that I can spend on one.
I'm pretty sure this is for Revivify, right?
Revivify is a 300 gold diamond.
It is? Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, as a matter of fact, I do in fact have a 300 gold piece worth diamond. As he then pulls it up, kind of, it's in a portion of the you kind of he pulls off some keys and he kind of opens up a portion of the front desk that you can't see behind, and he does put up a diamond, and that's worth 300 gold pieces, as requested.
I'll put 300 gold more on the pile of gold I already have on the table.
Okay.
And then I would like to buy some minor healing potions that you have. Specifically the 2d6 plus 2 that run 50 gold.
So potions of healing are generally 2d4 plus 2.
PD4 plus 2, cool.
Yeah. Also, hey Todd, or Denrick, you are muted. But if just to like kind of keep pacing going, since you left, if you want to retcon what you
Yes.
told him to get from the potion shop, you can do that. So what would you have liked to get from?
Guess I should have. Did I gather that he?
Yeah, he
I
was.
guess
Yeah, you're
by
good.
now I would have gathered that he's a healer, right? Because when he introduced himself, he said he was.
That's a good.
I would say.
I introduced myself as I introduced
Okay,
myself as a
okay.
medical man.
Then I guess maybe I would have offered money for him to pick up whatever he needs, because I would assume that he would, if it was needed, he would help the party with some sort of healing. So I offered to buy you, or offered money for whatever reagents and potions you're buying. Does that work?
How much do you give him?
I guess I would have asked him how much it costs.
Probably if he passed me 100 gold, that makes it so I can get 8 healing potions total, and still have money left over to buy the rest of the stuff that I need.
Yeah, that works.
Okay, so you
I
hand,
guess kind of cover him, cover the team.
so you handed him 100
That's what I
gold.
was-
Yeah, you handed him 100
Okay,
gold
so I
before he
would've-
branched off to go.
Okay.
So go ahead and mark
I'll
off.
put
100.
another 400 gold on the table for 8 healing potions so I can pass them out to everyone.
As you kind of just like set out this, he's like, my goodness, you need quite the plethora of healing potions. However, might I interest you? Good, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I just felt it would be better to be prepared than, get caught off guard on this deadly track.
Well, would you be interested in potentially hearing about the other potions that I have in stock, or are you pretty set?
Well, yeah, let's side off a few healing potions and then tell me about what else you have in stock.
Well, I do have greater healing potions as well, and so if you are interested in that, those run up 280 gold pieces. But they obviously are more potent than the regular healing. If you wanted to upgrade for any of those, I also do have potions of mana, which do restore, your capabilities of spellcasting. It just sounds like that is something that is up your alley.
How much do those run a piece?
Hey, can I?
My potions of mana, they do come.
I told him I gave him money for
My
Throws money through the window.
my potions of mana, they cost 400 gold pieces, and
400 gold.
but they do replenish some of the lower kind of costly arcane the lower kind of tiering of arcane practices and spells that wielders of the arcane and divine utilize. It will restore 2 first level spell slots to you upon drinking.
Thankful I don't have to reload my arms.
Okay.
But I have that, and then I also have the potion of cold resistance, which I obviously, if you are going into the frost trail, if that is correct, that might be of benefit. I do also have potions of fire resistance. I also have potions of strength, and I do have a potion of regeneration as well. So if any of those fit your fancy, let me know.
How much do the resistant potions run and the potion of strength?
The potions of resistance would be 200 gold pieces a piece, and then the potion of strength would be 400 gold pieces. Mechanically, so obviously potion of cold resistance would give you, or potion of cold or fire would give you resistance to that damage type for an hour. Potion of strength would increase a creature's, or would give a creature +2 to its strength score till its next resistant. Oh shoot, hold on. A creature gains +2 to its strength score till its next long rest. Yep.
Well, how about this? Let's do 4 of the healing potions.
All right, just regular healing then.
Just regular healing. Yes, luckily I am quite capable of making sure we are okay. These are just for emergencies if anything were to happen.
Absolutely, I understand where you're coming from, for sure.
Actually, let me do 6 of them, and if Patriots want to come back to grab resistances, they can, but those run a little bit pricey, and I still need to hit up a few more shops to grab a few survival supplies.
Absolutely, and if just send them my way, and I will make sure that they are set up properly for sure.
Perfect, thank you. So in total
Okay.
here, I am spending 525 gold.
And you want to
Or,
do?
wait,
So what potions?
600.
What potions do you want?
6 potions of minor healing, the 2d4 plus 2, so that'll run me 300. And then the diamond, which will run me 300, and then the component pouch will run me another 25.
Okay, so 625.
Yep.
Sounds
Putting me
good.
down to 200 gold.
All right, but yeah, you can go ahead and add all of those to your inventory, and he actually gives you this kind of cool leather, like kind of carrying kind of case for your 6 potions of healing. On the house for for a fellow dragonborn, and obviously for a very boisterous first buy.
Of course, Tofraka, friend. Tofraka Kia. Thank you, my friend.
Ooh.
Dragonborn.
He says it back.
I said ew, ooh, not you. Ew, a sincere moment between people.
I have 300
Disgusting.
left over because of the money that Todd also gave me. Up to the side, and then yeah. Alright, now if anyone dies, or if any 2 people die, I got you guys.
That's the plan.
Me twice, likely.
Okay.
Me twice.
It's me first.
And then, so
Okay.
Morello, I made it clear that that was just for like total of whatever you get, and then just however you saw fit to divvy that up, so you can like keep it or whatever, or keep
my
extra
plan is-
or whatever.
I just spent it all. My plan is to go out and pass around potions to all of you, for I do not need them.
Okay.
Well, before you can do that, we are going to jump over now to the other group of individuals who are going to be going to the stables themselves.
Perfect, because I have to be super bad.
Yeah, do your thing, man.
Car shopping, baby.
All right, so
Oh,
as so
four-wheel drive.
I want stuff where the top comes down on this ox. You know what I'm
Can I
saying?
get an
'Cause I
ox
don't.
limo?
I want a lifted
shit.
ox. Can I get one with longer legs?
All right, so as you all kind
It's a
of
2-door.
as you, it's just tall as shit. It's lifted.
Got stilts, dude.
It's like a camel but an ox. So
Got stilts.
as you
Water sacks just freeze.
as you guys go and make your way down to the kind of towards the front gate of the hold itself, you do off to the left hand side of the road. You see this massive barn-like structure, right? It's got like a very tall center roof. Off to the left and right hand side of it, you see that there's kind of offset side sections of the building itself with like kind of shorter roofs that kind of slant out off to the side as well. And then you see that there are two kind of large kind of barn doors, both open, kind of actually, just kidding. They'd be closed because it's cold as shit outside. So they're both closed. And then but then you do see kind of towards the middle of the, where's this guy going?
He's gonna go wrestle.
So towards the middle portion of this large building, you do see there's kind of like a smaller, kind of more like average size double door that looks more of the people entering. And then I will let Denver come back.
I could. I had it through the speakers. I could hear you.
Okay, I will say that you remember, Sir Denrick, as you had to actually put up your horse here. You do know that a lot of the business is actually done within the middle kind of portion of the building where the double doors are themselves.
Okay, then I'll lead him that way then.
Okay, so as you kind of take the lead, as you guys do enter into this space, familiar for you, Sir Denrick, but not so much for the two of you. You guys, it's a simple kind of little like lobby area. You see there's a couple of chairs off to the side, off to the left and right. You see like there's like a potted plant, and then you see that there's like a couple pieces of like just like landscape decor, kind of like some snowscapes, some trees and stuff. But you do see kind of in the middle of the space, about probably 20 feet away from you, you do see like a simple desk, and you see this very old looking individual.
Nice.
You see like the forehead kind of hairs kind of pulled back, and you see a receding hairline, but you see that the hair's kind of pulled back kind of from all different angles of the head into like this kind of like short little ponytail, like wannabe kind of ponytail. As it comes to the back, you see this kind of squinty like kind of sees squinting. You see like there's like kind of like wrinkles just all over the face as he's kind of hunched over the desk, kind of like as you enter in, he kind of like looks over to your group, and he's, oh, welcome to. He's kind of like looking off to the side. Oh, welcome to Gusev's ox stables. How might I assist you individuals?
I am looking to buy and I guess we are looking to buy a couple oxen here.
Oh, that is
Kind of
absolutely.
the kind of selection you got. What's the
Yeah.
any better than the others? We're kind of new, or at least I'm new here.
No, absolutely. The selection is actually at the prime peak at this point in time, for not many people are going to traveling at this time, and so the selection is very, very wide. However, obviously the Walian ox does not differ much when it comes to stature and size. So, but if yes, please, as he kind of like at this point he kind of like grabs a cane that's like resting off to the side of the desk itself, and kind of like stands up. Just please, if you'd like to follow me to the back, I will show you the ox that I have available. As he kind of like goes off to the left and starts like hobbling, as he like gestures. And off to the left and right side of like kind of like of this desk, there are like two doors, and he's going to your right, his left door, and you as he goes over, he kind of grabs it, opens it, and he's like extremely hunched over, and he's just like walking through.
It's a
right?
human, correct?
Yes.
Is he good?
Is he good? Oh, make an insight check. Make a medicine check.
Alright,
Hey, medicine
I'll
or
let go
insight?
of
Medicine or insight?
He has no stable hands.
medicine or insight? What
Yeah.
do you think? Does it matter?
Oh, it's gun.
I guess insight. I want to see if he's doing alright. Let's see. I should probably remember my rules.
Probably a good thing.
Insight, wisdom, 17.
17. This dude's very old, and he could probably die any day now, but he's still kicking, and he is leading y'all deeper into this to a barn of sorts.
Make
Fair
a
enough.
mental note. Never mind. That's gonna get dark. All right, I'm gonna
Oh,
I'm
okay.
gonna follow my man down.
All right, sounds
Yeah,
good.
I'm here to buy a minivan. Let's go.
All right, so as he's making his way like into he leaves the door open as you guys kind of all follow him through immediately, and you can kind of get hints of it as you entered into the actual space itself, but now it smells like shit and like piss and just like hay, and just a barn like waft just kind of shoots through, and it's kind of off-putting because you guys kind of like all like kind of recoil and like hold your breath, where he's like oh, he's kind of like he like inhales deeply. Like, okay.
Between my two companions, which one looks like they know the most about like livestock? Like between Sir Denric or Zahir? Like just like cursory glance, which one would you think I guess honestly Sir Denric, I know he had a
I would
horse.
be.
So I guess I'll turn to him.
I would be
and
very
I'll lean into him and whispers like, does this shit smell healthy, or like do we got a problem here?
I mean, it smells like shit. It all ends up being the same.
Do you like the smell of shit like this guy?
Of course not. Nobody does.
And
At which point he actually goes in for he goes in for a second. Go ahead.
Oh, did you
I
have he was
think
healthy,
I will
or-
make a mental note here that Sir Denric is a fake car guy. He doesn't even know the sense of shit, specifically for like gut health. He's a
Fake
fake
fan.
fan.
You're a fake fan of shit.
You're a big fan of cars, Todd, or oxen or horses. But yeah, All right. Well, then in that case, not having the inside knowledge from my car guy, I
Sorry, I'm
realize
not
I'm on my
approval.
own here. Yeah,
Sorry,
I guess
I'm
we're
not
gonna go check.
So,
we're gonna check
as-
this animal shit.
As you're following him through, he does.
Proficiency in shit smelling.
As he's walking in, hunched his shit, as he's just. So you probably don't know, the Gusev's ox stables have been in Grimtol Hold for many decades, and we are one of the primary purveyors of oxes for the hold itself. As he's like leading you deeper in and just kind of like rambling on like lore of like his ox stables. As you do enter in, there is kind of like a little bit of a hallway as you guys kind of get funneled into then like an open kind of space, at which point as you guys, he eventually makes his way, you guys enter into, it's a very long trek as he hobbles. His speed has definitely been reduced to like 5 feet permanently, so he's just like shifting slowly.
Mechanically, he is the worst escort mission. Fuck yeah.
So as you enter into the larger space, you see that there's just like rows and rows of different stables and kind of housing areas for animals. And at the end, he's like, this portion of the stables is where the Walian oxes are. The other side is where I keep most of the ponies, the horses, the other things themselves. And dude, he's squinting his eyes. You're surprised he can fucking see. He's like closed out. But he does like turn and he's like, so, you said you were interested in some of the oxes, correct?
Yes, we're
the oxes.
probably looking to get
Unless
4.
I mean, I'll ask you: is there anything better than oxes? So you know, we're gonna make our way to Snowzone here in a few days. So, kind of a big trip there.
No,
which one's your favorite there, buddy?
I would not.
So kind of hold on. So in character, if you don't want to like lead the conversation of Virden, I mean, I'm willing to do that.
Ever seen that in character?
No, I mean like out of it. I mean like your character wouldn't be like the first one to talk to him.
No,
would he?
I wouldn't be, but I also wouldn't be comfortable with like that much silence.
Well,
you know, like
Well,
I'm
what
also
I'm
like
saying-
trying to buy a car. Yeah.
Yeah, well, what
Sam
I'm
wants
saying
the
is like,
sickest
I mean,
car.
I'm willing to do it. I just didn't know if you don't have to like.
Yeah, whatever.
He's
I mean,
gonna name his ox car.
it's gonna be called Lightning.
So to answer your question, yeah, absolutely. The Walian ox is one of the best modes of transportation across the harsh winter landscapes that the Walian or the white whale expanse can offer. And he kind of turns and starts to lead you down one side. And dude, these oxes are already fairly large and sturdy creatures. Times that by about 2, and you have like a horse like tall ox and like just stocky as shit. The hair is just running down, bro. It is. You're just like it's kind of off-putting. You're like, bro, like no wonder like that these things are hard, like built for this environment. They look tough. They look hardy, and you're like, oh, immediately you're kind of like a little bit of like a reassurance comes onto you, like, okay, like we will be probably all right when it comes to traversing this with at least these creatures.
Gotcha.
But as you can see, they are very hearty. They are tall as well, which is incredibly beneficial for the snows and whatnot. So, but yeah, and you can see that there's a couple empty slots, but for the most part, it's a pretty full stables. And you do see like a bunch of different people, like different individuals, going through and like kind of tending, feeding them, just kind of scooping shit, you know, just going through and tending to them. There's a handful of people kind of hustling and bustling.
Yes, these should do just fine. They look very hardy, and they exactly what we're looking for.
Well, excellent. So, how many would you like to procure?
At least one for each of us.
And one for our friend who's not here at the moment.
He kind of like, you see each of you, and he kind of like tries to open his eyes. He's like, so okay, so 3 plus 1, so 4 4 oxes required by your party. That will be 100 gold pieces per ox, so that'll be 400 gold. do you have any preferences as to the coloring or anything exact? They're pretty much black or gray. I mean, there's not much in between that.
Guess I got a white cloak, so I'll take the blackest one you got.
Absolutely, I'm pretty sure Kavkin will be excellent. He's one of the darkest oxes that we have.
I'll take Kafkin, no problem.
Kavkin with the v, Kavkin.
Yeah, I'll take Cadkid V. I think at this point I'm just intentionally messing with the old man.
No,
I'm just
no. Listen, Kavkin, son, Kavkin.
Munchkin and I will be fast friends.
Oh, what
This
the?
guy, bro, you're gonna make him fall over.
Do you either of you prefer anything specific?
Circumstantial evidence.
I don't have preference. Personally.
Alright, then I think Stuart will be best for you. As he points to use it
He
here.
got stuck with Stewart.
Yes. And then I think
Hell
for
yeah,
you and
Stuart.
your shiny armor, I think we do.
Sturdiest socks. if
We
you will.
have this one kind of more kind of muscular ox that we'd like to call Hero. You can have him.
That will do just fine. Thank
So
you.
you have Kavkin, Stewart, and Hero as your oxens, and you said, yeah, you said,
Sir Denrick is writing this script.
you said you.
Oh, I got favor, dude.
You got one more individual. He can have Benny. Benny is perfectly capable.
Can Kenny carry a rather big man?
No,
like,
no, it's
here?
Benny. Benny with the B.
Yeah, well, is Jenny a sturdy gal, or can she not carry a big gun?
He gets starts digging in his ears, and he's like, yeah, Benny is pretty stocky, kind of in the average, in between range of ox.
Corbito, did you walk here, Morello, or did you ride?
No, I walked.
You like kind of caravan, but yeah.
I was like, I figured I walked for a little while and then in the back of like. A
You
car,
caravanned, and so like, but so like because the southern road towards Shaldorn Fortress is clear, their carriages can be mounted, like can be traversed. So you like were in a carriage, or like a caravan. So, right. Well, if that is concludes business, I'll meet you back up at the front, and then we can conclude these dealings if that sounds good to you. And also, and then so as he kind of leads you up to the front, now there will.
I kind of lean in towards like our group members, and based off of our discussion earlier, based off the size of these, I don't think we would need an extra. What do you think?
I can't imagine so. I don't know if we'd even be able to encumber these.
Yeah, I agree, but I still kind of want to double check with.
That's fine.
Axe off, just to make sure.
Axe off. Yeah.
I mean,
That is
I think I would like to make, I guess, a perception check for these stables to see. How do I best say this? If I were to steal an ox and book it from town, how likely would I be able to do that? Like just guard wise and the kind of wall position I guess, in the town. If our like, all right guys, I'll meet up with you on the trail. That I just stole a fucking ox. Like, how likely does it seem like I could do that without catching heat? Or even catching heat if it just.
I think
like,
that
if I
would
can
be-
make it to the
Dang,
trail.
you already
That-
been scoping this
That
old
would
man,
be
you gotta
more.
have
That would be
fleeces.
more of an insight check because,
Sure. Yeah.
unless you want to look around in here to
I'm
see
more
security.
looking for defenses.
All right, roll
you
perception
know?
check to look
Yeah,
around.
yeah. I mean, whichever one works for you, because it's more of just an idea of like kind of the town layout, I guess. Because
Go ahead and make a perception check.
perception. Gotcha. In that case, it is an unnatural 20.
Unnatural 20. Ooh.
Okay.
Very good. So as you're looking around, I would say a lot of the stables, they do have what looks to be like reinforced kind of doors because these are obviously big creatures, and so there is like some latching mechanisms that would definitely be probably slowing you down if you were to just like try to come in here and snag something real quick. And you do look across, and this barn is honestly massive. Like the building exterior, you're like, wow, this is big as fuck. And you come in, you're like, damn, like makes sense. there's probably about 15 to 20 workers in here, and so just looking around, it is pretty well maintained. It has a lot of manning, and as you do catch a quick glance over towards the front door, there does, even just from this distance off, it's a far ways off, but you can even see that there are kind of security measures in place. Can't really discern so much what, but you definitely can see that Gusev seems to take proper care of his ox flock here, or ox herd.
Yeah, I think I'll look around and get that info, but I think mentally be like, I don't know my friends well enough to risk this. I guess I don't know if I'm gonna show up with my friends with a stolen ox.
Damn, you
Because I might be able to pull it
friends.
off. But then at the end of that, they might be like, yeah, turn yourself around and turn yourself around. I don't know how they're gonna respond to that. So maybe I just won't.
Gotcha.
I think I'll look at that, and I think like part of, like I will have a little fun with it and mentally kind of think like how I can circumvent this. Maybe I can circumvent that, but like just like entertain it. But I think looking at all that will be more trouble than it's worth.
Sounds good. And then as you guys get back to the front, he does say, so that'll be 400 gold pieces for the 4 oxes. And then also as well, are you going to be needing saddles and equipment of that nature, like saddle bags and things like that?
Would yeah, I guess how much would saddlebags, saddles, the whole, how much would the works be? How about that?
So for all of these saddles and to basically get fully equipped for being able to ride them basically out of the stables themselves today, it would be about 25 gold pieces. For all 4 of them. 25 gold pieces, and then also you said you're going on a journey of sorts across the Frost Trail. I would suggest obviously bringing food. If how long do you plan on being out?
Let's say
2 weeks is a
2
healthy
weeks.
estimate.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah.
Two
Fortnight,
weeks.
I'll say.
I would say that'll run you, let's say 2 gold for all 4 of them for 2 weeks of food.
Battle pass is worth.
Battle pass is worth. I guess with that,
My bad, I dropped my D20.
I did it like 3 times last time we played.
That
I'll
was
ask
bad under
him,
actually.
Gusoff?
Yes.
Gusoff?
Yes.
Would it be possible to buy the saddlebags, buy the oxen, and let you hold them here, considering it's a large purchase? Is it okay if we hold them here for a day or 2 before we leave? Because we don't know what we're leaving.
No, absolutely. Yes, free of charge. They can stay here as long as you
Okay.
get them by the end of the week. Then that is fine by me. You are obviously very well-paying customers, and I will afford you that luxury. Absolutely no problem.
Okay. Then what
Thank
is
you
the
very
full
much.
purchase for the food, for the full setup, for the...
So in total,
Yeah.
so it would be 427 gold for
We decided
all
on
of
2
you.
weeks.
For all of you.
Well,
2
I
weeks.
guess for an individual, for one setup, because I'm not paying for...
It'd be 100. It'd be 100 gold. Let's see.
25 for the setup.
Well, so that's for all the saddles.
Oh,
25.
okay.
So it'd be about, let's see, 25,
It's like
25 divided by
6.
4.
4. That's like, let's say 7. So let's just make it 110 gold. 110 gold for saddles, for saddlebags, and for food for 2 weeks.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
All right.
Fair enough.
Done. I will hand that over. I'll hand that over. And then I'll hand him 1 additional gold and say,
Keep the change.
yeah, appreciate your knowledge and your stories, Gusoff. You were a big help today. Because I think part of me seeing a senile old person makes me sad. I'm like, damn, he's like only like 70. Like, this is tragic.
Absolutely. Thank you, young man. It is definitely appreciated. As he kind of like, he has like feel and then like, thank you very much. Also,
110 gold, no problem to hand over that 1 coin. I make it kind of a struggle.
what? Yeah. And then would you like your certificate of purchase for Kevkin?
please.
Easily enough. I'll have that done up for you, and then you can retrieve that when you come by and grab the ox at that point in
Right.
time. And then similarly for all the rest of you, it'd be 110 gold pieces for everything. Go ahead and annotate
There
that,
you are.
and then if you'd like your certificates as well, then you're good to go.
Yes.
If there is
And,
nothing else lingering that
much
you would
thanks.
need, I will be starting the paper process for getting these ox into your custody.
Actually, Gustav, I have one question. Is there some form of library or like bookshop of some kind in town that I could perhaps check out?
There is one, for sure. I do not remember the name though.
Is there anyone nearby I could give eye contact for like?
Just him. Just him.
Just him. All right. I'll turn to you two. There's like I'll beat you at scavengers, I guess. Just give me a minute. Just like I just wait. I just turned to was it a bookshop or a library, Agusov?
It would be a bookshop.
Okay. Do you know what it was called or where it is
I
in
have
town?
no idea what it was called. I think it was towards the center of town. But I don't make my way very far from the stables nowadays, so sorry. Best of
Understandable.
luck.
Understand. Thank you.
Best of luck to you.
Alright, I think I'll make a mental note that's in the center of town, but I'll just make my way to scavengers and then maybe ask scavenger.
Okay, sounds good.
I mean, I'm good to make my way there. Make our way there.
And that's also where we
With
said we'd
everybody.
meet. Check where we'd meet.
Morello.
Morello. Yeah. Well, that part of my Discord was cut off by my 7 other windows. So.
All right, are you all good to go?
See, I am.
Yes.
All right, so I will say that if you would like to, just so that we can kind of expedite a little bit, if any of you would like to go to the potion store and buy anything, that is fine. If you want me to read off the list of things again, just so we can kind of expedite that.
No, unfortunately, I don't think there's anything I'd. Oh, how much was regeneration? I guess.
2,400 gold.
2,400. What was the benefit from it?
That would be basically for 1 minute you regain at the top of your turn 1d4 plus your Constitution modifier hit points for 1 minute.
Okay. For 1 minute. 400. What?
2,400 gold.
2,400?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
I'm gonna
400?
spend.
Yeah,
Well, I'm gonna
there's nothing
go-
I can buy that's worth it.
I'm just about to go to the Nether and get some Nether warts. Get my own potions going.
hell?
I'm gonna get my own brewing stand. These prices are outrageous.
These prices.
I'll be back on Black Friday.
All right, bro. Sounds good. All right. So with that, are we now going to scavengers?
Please.
All right.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So as you all kind of collectively meet up, and eventually make your way towards scavengers, you
Just before we go in, can I? While I was at the shop, I grabbed a few things for you guys.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna pull out 2 health potions. I'm gonna give each person 2 minor health potions.
Thank you,
2d4 plus 2.
And,
For if anything happens to me and I can't help you, your gold was a great help in getting this.
Thank you. And we have arranged for your ox. We will be
I-
picking them up. Before
I'll
we leave.
say this would probably
Jenny.
be better utilized by the others than me. And I'll hand one of each to both Sir Denric and Virden.
So how many? With that, how many total did I get? Did you give 2 to each of us?
Are you
No,
are
no,
you
3.
sh- Yeah.
are you sure
I'll
you're
have one
here?
if you
They
did.
can always come in handy.
I have enough healing of my own.
Well, I don't. So good looking out.
Very well. I forget that you guys are well versed in the art of magic.
These will also help if something were to happen to us and we can't do anything about it. You guys have a way to get us back so we can make sure everyone can stay on their feet.
That sounds reasonable. So 3 times
Well-
minor healing potion.
3 times minor healing potions.
Let's get it.
So you handed out. Okay, you handed 3 out. Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
Okay, all right. On to the next store.
Sorry, you handed out 3 total, or you handed out
One to each.
three
Yeah.
each.
Todd and I each
Yeah.
have 3.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Because I bought 6 total, so yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Just want to make sure there wasn't like one we had to like put in a superposition. Okay, that works.
All right. So as you all go ahead and make your way across town, the sun now at this point is probably getting close to about 11 o'clock noon. As the sun is now kind of almost cresting to that top portion of in the sky. Kind of the clouds have kind of dissipated for the most part. It is now for the most part clear blue sky. The sun's rays doing what they can to provide warmth for those that dwell below. But yeah. As you guys go to make your way over to Scavenger's Goods Emporium, as you guys arrive to the destination, you see that it is this kind of larger, almost like 1.5 story building, as it's like almost kind of it's almost like the size of like one of the sections of the stables that you just came from. It's fairly large, and then as you do go ahead and make your way inside to the actual store itself through like these 2 double doors. You are immediately met with a goblin standing in front of you guys, as he is dressed. He is dressed in it's like some business casual attire, kind of like a step down from the attire that the workers of the Hearthfire were in. He has a red brown fur vest on, and then has a bright red fox fur like around the neck portion of the vest. And as you kind of step in, you kind of close the doors behind you. He's like, welcome to Scavengers. What can I do for you, lads?
Yabo.
What's up, Scavenger?
Yeah, what are you looking to buy? What are you looking to acquire?
Well, we are not actually quite sure what you sell, are we?
Are you the general store here, or is there a regular
No,
general store
I'm
here?
definitely not the only general store here, but I'm definitely one of the most top-notch when it comes to selling interesting artifacts and kind of doodads that will definitely help you in the long run for sure. So, but if you want to go ahead and if you want to go ahead and follow me back to the counter over yonder, and then we can go ahead and talk some business if you're looking for it. As he kind of starts like gesturing you guys off into a direction towards the back portion of the store.
Well, I'm interested in what you have to offer.
Yeah, might as well follow him.
Well, then you're
So I'll
you're
follow
in
back.
you're in the right place. Then you're in the right place. And then as you go ahead and continue towards the actual back counter itself, so what can I do for you? What exactly are you in the market for, or are you just trying to get kind of a beat on as to what I'm selling?
Well, I guess I will start with more mundane, but do you happen to have waterproof hides?
I do, in fact, have waterproof hides. That is definitely something that I can get for you. And so, just to kind of give you the rundown as to what we have here, it is we definitely have a lot of the similar general store kind of things, as well as we also have spell scrolls. We have a couple of magical items, and then we have some additional things, like you're saying, with the bags of the kind of waterproof bags. So that definitely is no problem. We kind of have some of those more kind of exclusive things that not every other general store would have. So, yes, I can easily get that for you. That would be 5 silver pieces for a waterproof bag.
And it's 10 silver to 1 gold.
Yes.
Okay.
Was
yes.
just one of those, or
Do you happen to have like maybe small poles? Set this up into a bit of a teepee or lean-to, or some other sort of small escape
Waterproof.
from the elements.
wait?
Waterproof
Are you looking for?
No, waterproof hide, just a hide that I can like.
Oh, you
break
want to
open.
hide just a hide, not a bag itself. Oh, I only hit bags.
Oh well.
I guess you could cut it. Like
I
a
mean,
lot of
I do also have like tents themselves
You
as
have, like, a
well.
tent?
I have
Oh,
tents.
Oh yeah.
And my tents, generally tents are made to actually go ahead and reflect the weather around you. So I mean, just go ahead and get one of my tents, then I'll go ahead. My accent is shifting so hard, it's kind of hard to figure out what the fuck I'm doing, but I'm trying.
Believe me, I'm very familiar with it.
Yes,
You're doing
it is
great.
not-
Yeah.
You're doing great. Keep it up.
All right. Hold on. Let me mute myself. All right, we're back. All right. So
Damn it.
now, welcome back. So yeah, I had to go, mentally checked out there for a second, but now we're back. So you want?
Happens to
So
most
do you
of us.
want a tent? Because I have tents that are obviously, weather
Absolutely.
resistant.
How
Big
many
tent.
people does a tent house?
We have 2-person tents that are weather resistant for sure.
If we put them together, can we make a really big one-person tent?
They are
Are they
not
modular?
Yeah, they are not modular. They are individually sectioned tents themselves. So sorry, that's not something I can necessarily do for you. But-
Let's do those well.
How much is a tent?
A tent. Actually, I need to look at it here.
Gold pieces.
Actually, Google
It's
pieces.
2. I have it. Yeah, I have it written down because
It's
I
2?
listed all the stuff that I wanted to buy and
Bro,
the gold
no
next to
meta.
it just in case.
No meta.
No, you're good. Actually, it helps. It's
No,
gonna.
man,
It's
I was
gonna.
Trying to make.
But
I
in
was
that
trying to
book-
make sure that this could go fast, so I had everything I wanted and all the
No,
gold
you're
next
good.
to it, so I could go through, man.
Dude,
You
what
get-
dreams you had.
For
I hope
sure.
this can
No,
go
no
fast.
worries. No worries. The waterproof tent's still gonna go ahead and cost you 4 gold pieces. They're because they're a little bit more durable and they're a little bit more hardy than the actual other tents themselves. So if that sounds good to you, that sounds good to me.
Your waterproof
I'll tell you
tent.
what, guys. I'm not gonna buy a tent, but I'm gonna try and see if my thing works tonight. I'm not gonna get a hotel room. So if that doesn't work, I'll be back here to buy my tent. But y'all do what you need to do.
You think?
Yeah,
Sure.
I have a spell I do, but I want to make sure it'll actually work first.
Oh, interesting.
Actually,
Alright.
Jared, if you want, I could run it by you, but it's...
Is it a spell in the actual game?
Yeah, it's a spell in the action.
Oh, then okay, yeah, we
Is
can talk about it later.
Is it a tiny hut?
It might be a
Yeah.
tiny hut.
Is
It
it
might be a
William's
tiny
tiny
hut. I didn't let y'all move in, but me, I'm in my hut.
Right. Well, yeah, so I'll pass over 4 gold for a tent.
Yeah, absolutely, no worries. Did y'all pass all
Buy
3 of you?
tents, Will.
Okay,
Yeah.
those three tents. He kind of calls out, hey, 3 tents, go get them from the back. All right. So what else could I get for y'all
Is
mates?
there anyone back there he's talking to? Or
Yeah, there's you see 2 goblins kind of scurry off to the back.
But I'll take a waterproof bag.
That'll be, I don't even know how much was it?
5 silver.
5 silver. Yep, that sounds good.
Yeah, I'll take.
Um,
Are they backpacks or are they just like sling bags?
Did I get?
They're like kind of like draw bags. Like they're like a bag that you can put stuff into and you put in like another bag.
Oh. Yeah. Does he have like backpacks on top? Like-
Yeah, for 8 silver, I have backpacks that are waterproof.
All right. Yeah, I'll get one of those.
All right, easy enough. Easy enough. North. Hey, part of my accent, I kind of I hail from a bunch of different, regions. Yeah, now I'm going southern. I'm not just
I
talking
was
normally.
about to say, and I figured that you were way too hyper for your brain to actually work correctly. So
Yeah.
the fact that any speech is coming out is honestly impressive. He's not a
It's
human
a
being; he's a
gobble,
goblin.
dude.
It's I should have just went high paced and
Loud
called it a
shit.
day, but I thought I could
I'm
commit.
looking straight
No,
down
no,
too
no.
as I talk to this man.
I appreciate the fact so much that I'm not talking to Squee right now, So
thought
I'm
about
just
it.
like, hey, this goblin, badass.
All right. Hey, Squeeze, why don't you go ahead and get in the... No, I'm just kidding.
No. We are gonna start combat right now.
So is there anything else that I can get you, mates? Is there anything else that I can...
Rations and some extra sets of water.
Alright, so I say for this, we can just go and kind of go through the list of what y'all want so that we can just kind of expedite
Give
this
me
a little bit.
cool rocks. Fancy rocks.
Cool.
I guess I do have one question mechanic-wise. How will drinking water work if it freezes?
Can always heat it up with the fire.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take.
I think we have enough
wine.
magic to heat things up.
Mhm.
Well, I have
I
a half
guess.
bottle.
Okay. Well, I'll grab more like drinking wine, I guess, because that won't freeze, right?
Mine will still freeze.
I was gonna say,
Mine freezes.
definitely still
Yeah.
chill out.
Yeah, you need like really high, almost exclusively alcohol, and even then it does have a freezing.
That doesn't hydrate you.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think
Chug.
wine doesn't necessarily hydrate you the best either.
That's why I'm just going to grab.
Medieval
For no
peasants
reason in
would only drink.
particular, I beg to disagree.
Medieval peasants would just drink watered down Coors Light,
That is true. They
Okay,
did live
and
off
they-
a steady diet of Bush Light.
and they ended up all right, right?
So if we want to, for the purposes of this, we can kind of go through. Y'all can kind of we'll go through kind of on the side. We'll go through everything that y'all want to get when it comes to like kind of mundane things. But he does offer. I do have quite the assortment of spell scrolls if you're looking for those, and I do have a handful of torch, not torch, a handful of different magical items if you're looking for stuff like that. So
Yeah, what kind of magical
Scavenger.
items do you have?
yeah, what's up?
Actually, my friend seems a little bit more interested in the scrolls that you have, so you can actually
Yes.
tell him first, and then I do not mind waiting.
Yeah, what are you looking for?
And actually, so
What are you looking for?
Yeah. What kind of spell scrolls might you have for like I guess you're more familiar with the locals over there. As we're gonna go down the Frost Trail, so all the things you're dealing with over there, like I've heard wolves. I heard like
You're going down the Frost Trail. Well, that,
yes, firebugs. And, yeah, so
yeah, the
what's something
Frost
you can
Trail
protect
is
yourself?
definitely something that I would not necessarily recommend doing in the dead of winter. But it sounds like y'all are pretty hard set on that, so I guess.
Yeah, we're going with Axov to.
Oh, Exov!
Company
Hey,
name.
that's one of my mates.
Yeah.
Oh.
He recommended.
Yeah, why didn't you say so? Hey, yeah, definitely. Yeah, me and Exov, we go way back, so I guess that, yeah, I mean, for the referral, I guess I can give y'all, a little bit of a discount or of sorts if y'all would be
why,
interested.
Thank you very much. Yes, I mean, of course.
All right.
Thank you for your generosity.
Oh, absolutely. Now I'm Southern again, so I'm just gonna shut the fuck
Squeeze
up.
Squeeze doing it. Squeeze Squeeze doing good.
Squee. I nailed the Australian there for a second, and then it devolves, and
You
I'm
were
like,
running it.
damn it.
Yeah, it's the problem anytime I do an Australian accent, straight to Southern.
It's just it gets like.
Whenever I do an Australian accent, I go straight to being drunk.
But I do. I'm trying. I am trying. You only learn through practice, so I'm gonna keep trying it.
By all means, dude. I'm enjoying it.
So I do have a plethora of different kind of spell scrolls, and so I can just give you the list that I have, and then I can
Please.
I have,
That I'll sort through.
yeah. So I do have, and he kind of goes underneath the he kind of goes into the back room, kind of grabs out like a large kind of bag, like a leather satchel, as he takes out individually kind of like individual cases out of the satchel itself and kind of puts them out. Fairly nicely made kind of decorative kind of cases. Not like super fancy by any means, but at least like for preserving the integrity of the scroll itself. He does lay out 6 of them, and he does go through them individually, and there is going to be comprehend languages, disguise self, expeditious retreat, identify, enhance ability, and levitate.
Okay. Okay. I will look at all these. I think I'll look through all of them and recognize that, like, I guess they are still saving a spell slot. Yeah, I'll look them over. What are the prices on them? I guess.
Comprehend languages will be 60 gold. Disguise self will be 45. Expeditious retreat will be 50. Identify is 75. Enhance abilities 200. Levitate's 150.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me,
So, what are these spell scrolls that are veered in? And I kind of like look at him as he's looking at them.
I think actually
Curious.
when I noticed you looking at them, like I realized because I was looking at them for myself, I'm like, well, I have a lot of these. Then as you look up, I'm like, oh, actually, I'd recommend. Have you ever used a spell scroll yourself?
Take it, I'm like,
What language are they
not.
kind of written in, Jared?
They're written in common.
Okay.
I'm like, how does
Maybe, Hey, be careful.
How
That's a
does that
loaded
work?
gun you got there. That's a loaded gun you got there. It's like,
This
that's gonna
man,
be-
this man starts reading it. Starts reading the incantation.
What's the stock fucking?
Yes,
I
Levitate.
get ready to
Yeah,
cast
oh!
silence just in case before he
Yeah,
finishes. If he doesn't, I'm just like,
I like to read levitate and start.
So
Oh, no, dude.
I would say that like I would say for the most part the like kind of there's like kind of like descriptions as to how casting through the skull would be are in common, but there's obviously like articulations of like the verbal component of it that's in obviously like a like kind of like a like an older like
Arcane tongue or
yeah
something.
yeah exactly arcane like kind of verbalization, I guess, if that makes any sense.
I kind of look it over and like, well, I think I'll leave this fancy stuff to you more magically adept. I'll stick with my sword here and pat pommel of it.
Okay.
I leave.
Okay, I think I'll
Quickly.
notice that, but I'm gonna look at let me check.
I was just kind
enhanced
of
ability real
curious
quick.
as to what it was. I don't know if I
Enhanced ability.
ran into a stealth.
Oh
Ooh.
shit! I will
It's pretty-
absolutely buy the enhanced ability scroll because I don't have that spell.
All
I think
right.
especially as he
Sounds good to me,
like,
mate.
as I hear this from Sir Denrick, I kind of like I buy this scroll knowing that he's gonna like I might use this on him. I think I'll buy that and the expeditious retreat because that also might be good.
200. That'll be
There is
200.
no retreat.
That will be 250 gold pieces, mate.
Oh, how much was enhanced ability again? Real quick?
200 gold.
No, enhanced ability.
That'd be 200 gold pieces. Correct.
Oh, that one's so. How much is that with expeditious retreat?
250 gold.
Oh, yeah, I don't need expeditious retreat. I can just cast that. So enhanced ability, I will buy it for the 200.
200
I
gold
don't need
pieces.
it, but-
I thought you said it was like 100.
200 gold pieces, and that lovely enhanced ability scroll is yours. As he closes the case and kind of slides it over.
You were able to maybe 180
For what? For the enhanced ability?
Enhanced
ability. Yeah.
180. And what are you giving me?
Well, you did say you were going.
Yeah, you
to
did.
Oh,
say
you know,
a
hey.
nice discount for
It
referral.
is absolutely, you are correct. That would be, yes, 180 gold pieces. That is absolutely fine for a maid of Exor, for sure.
I think I do like give a little nod of thank you to Zahir as that I make that exchange because I do often forget how money works like totally. So I've just been handing out like just okay. It's like
Hey, man.
yeah.
Whoa,
And
right?
I think with that I will turn to Morel and say I think now get some magical things. I think
Yes, I'm
our,
quite
me
curious.
and my
on the-
compatriot are I think we're all frankly quite interested in this.
Well, absolutely, that can be easily done. Hey, just go ahead and put. Hey, where would y'all like your tents? They grabbed them over there. As you look back, you see two goblins kind of carrying a stack of tents.
Maybe we
I'll-
just send them to the stables.
Yeah. Will you be able to bring them to the stable?
We are not necessarily gonna
I
go
can
ahead
Or
and.
maybe
I can
outside
them.
we carry them or something.
Yeah,
so I can
If
just
you want,
carry 'em over.
if you want, we can go ahead and leave them in the back, and then you all can go and pick them up as y'all are going to be leaving town, or y'all can go and bring them over to the stables themselves and just get them all nice and settled up. So it depends on what y'all want to do.
Do you have like a loading bay where we can pull up our oxen?
I mean, y'all can just go ahead and make your way over to the front door, and then we can just go ahead and load them up for you.
Okay.
Absolute no
That's it.
worries
Yeah,
there.
that'll work well.
Absolutely, absolutely. That sounds good. That sounds good. Now you're looking a little bit more into the magical items kind of realm of stock. Okay. Well, just go ahead and give me 1 second with me, and as I go ahead and put these spell scrolls back, as he kind of closes all of them up and kind of puts the back end, returns them. All right, so I have 3 different magical items here for. Well, actually, I guess if you want to count, I have 3 different types of magical. And there we go, Southern again. But
Dude, when he goes southern, we get the deals, boys. Let's going. Give me some moonshine and a slice of that magical item.
all right,
Ready.
so we have here. So as at this point when he's in the back, he does bring a couple of things forward. So here we have, and you see as he sits on top of the counter, he sees this very nicely nicely crafted, almost like handle. It's a handle of like a sword or something that would resemble like a sword. It's like a kind of grayish steel, and then it kind of comes out up to the top. It almost looks like the top of like a brazier or something like that, where it kind of like comes up. As it kind of like it kind of jets out, and the top of it is almost it's the circumference of it is wider than the handle itself. It almost kind of looks like a flashlight, where it kind of like comes out and then bows out at the top of it too. Well, this right here is, I call it Torchbearer's Reach, and it's a whip, and upon activation, it produces fire out of the top of it, and essentially you have a whip made out of fire. And
okay.
it's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty. I would give you a demonstration. However, it would obviously not be so keen or ideal if my stock caught on fire. So, but
if you don't mind, I'd love for you to step outside and show me this. I mean, if it's too much,
no, absolutely, absolutely. Except
I could build you a snowman or something, and you could just like slice it in half. Or...
I think that if we're gonna go ahead and do this demonstration, we should probably go ahead and go to the back instead of the front. So as he kind of leads you like kind of towards like an alleyway towards the back portion of the store and out like a back door.
I will too, and I'll pull my holy sigil out and put it on my chest just in case I need to cast some spells.
I guess if there's no one to explain more of the stock to, I'll go with.
All right, so as you all kind of go out back for this demonstration, he says the command word, which is like "Dosh," and then as he kind of like flurries the like the handle downward, you see that the top portion of it that's kind of like bowed out, it immediately you hear as like flame kind of ignites in it and shoots up in like a column of fire, and then eventually it hits probably about 5-6 feet, and then it like bows off to the side and curls back down. Well, it goes up like it'd be like 3 or 4 feet, and then starts to curl back down and come down as he then kind of like cracks it. And you just see this fire kind of like licking at the air and just kind of like flowing back and forth as he kind of like whips it around. And it's interesting because it acts almost like as if it was like an object, like it would act like if it's a whip as it kind of flurries and moves through the air, but fire, pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I look at that and I note how awesome it is, but then I realize the only weapon I do know how to use is my rapier. Like essentially anything else is like a club. So I look at that and like, I mean, like I can't. I'll slice my hand off.
Do you have anything?
Poke your eye out.
That's very cool there, Scavenger. Maybe one of my companions might have better use of it than I, but very nice tool you have there.
Absolutely, no worries, mate. I mean, it's not for everyone. As he kind of looks at the rest of the group.
I guess not for me, and I'll kind of sign to my really fat mace that I have on my side.
He kind of...
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be able to use that.
No takers then?
No takers. I do not quite have finesse, as it were.
Absolutely no worries. As he kind of you can see like he speaks the command word again. As it kind of is like from the source, it kind of dissipates, and then the flames kind of just lick out along the whip. The whip kind of
It is
line.
quite the weapon, but don't think it's something.
This isn't even better.
What
Guards come over as Todd draws his sword again.
We're like, ooh.
I think with this, I was like, well, you mentioned there's some others.
Oh yeah, let's go ahead and make our way back inside, and I can go ahead and show you the rest of the stock that I get. As you guys make your way back inside, he puts the Torchbearer's Reach back, and ends up coming out with kind of a little pouch it's like a leather pouch, and he starts to scatter kind of these silver looking rings across, and they on each of them they kind of have like some as you kind of pick them up and examine, then they have like little arcane kind of like engravings on them. And he's like, these are going to be rings of messaging, and if y'all, I mean, they're fairly simple incantation, but if you need to talk to another creature, then you can go ahead and use these rings to cast the message spell at will, unlimited times a day.
Okay,
how much does that cost?
It would be 95 gold pieces.
And then, can you only cast to others wearing the ring, or does it? Just...
It acts exactly as if you were casting the message spell.
I immediately hand him 95 gold.
I immediately hit him 95
Yeah, I
gold as
just
well.
All right.
right away.
As I being grudgingly passed up taking that cantrip, and now you're offering it to me for 95 gold, I will happily take that.
I will happily take that.
I will
I'd
happily.
say
And Connor
Like,
wears both of them.
I do, yeah. I get that finally talk to my two personalities.
how many are there?
95.
There's 7.
5 of them.
Yeah.
Total. 7 of them.
Yeah.
I say ring. I want to pick one up. Am I looking at it? Interesting.
I mean, I could just yell.
How exactly does it work?
I think I use the messaging spell, and how messaging works, though, I want to make sure the rings work the same way. I'm going to cast with message Chusa here saying, but this way, no one has to hear us speak, and I wait to see if he can reply back to me using this spell.
Which
yeah,
you can.
okay, cool.
I'm gonna recoil.
Cool.
Look around.
I say my precious.
As you ask kind of inquiring questions, oh, you don't know how, oh, he's off. Alright, just kidding. You two, if you all want to, as you recoil back from
Yeah.
him casting message on you. Is he here?
And I'll just say out loud and be like, wait, what? That was in my head?
Yeah, that's the point of it. I don't remember how far away it works. I know there's some guys in my hometown who'd use this all the time. It was kind of like a prank when we were growing up. Like, I'd be in bed, and they'd keep messaging me over and over and over, and they'd trick me into having nightmares. So you can kind of just, like, talk at people in their heads. But you can reply back once you know that you can.
Quite the friends.
So actually, so just
No,
keep
it's-
so keep this in mind. So it's the message spell. So you point your finger towards a creature within range, which is 120 feet, and whisper a message. The target and only the target hears the message, and you reply in a whisper that only you can hear. So it's not like telepathic. It's like as if someone was whispering in your ear. You can cast the spell through solid objects as if you're familiar with the target and you know it's beyond the barrier. Blah 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 blah. So yeah.
I'll just add it to my cantrip list so I don't forget.
Yep, and you can just
I'm-
add ring of messaging if you want to your inventory.
Sweet, thank you.
I'm limited on my money, so I'll see what else he has first.
That is easy enough there, mate. So the last thing that I have for in stock is going to be this. As he kind of puts the rest of the rings in. You didn't. As he kind of gestures over to you. You didn't want anything there. As he points to you, Sir Denrick.
I'm not familiar with these sort of items.
Doesn't mean
He's
you
referring
can't.
to the rings. He's referring to the rings.
Doesn't mean that you can't learn how to use them.
I think I'll be okay.
All right.
I
As he,
appreciate the offer, though.
absolutely no worries. As he goes into the back, he does now at this point bring out this large kind of gray bag made of like this nice kind of fabric material. As he brings that out and he sets it on top of the counter. So this is what we call a bag of tricks. And so it'd probably just be easy to show you. As he reaches into the bag, he pulls out what looks to be this kind of like fuzzy, kind of like egg-shaped object, and he throws it over the counter. And I think I actually, do I have it here? I think I do. Please hold. Pause for effect.
This is the
Minute.
sailing time. Yeah. Man, he threw this very hard. It is still going.
Yeah.
Just floating.
All right. So as he throws it, as it lands kind of off into like the empty space behind you, apart from some of the shelves, you see as it kind of hits the ground, you see kind of starts to like morph and like grow, and a panther just kind of comes out of the little object, and it kind of turns and starts to just kind of like haunches down, and then he's like, "Why don't you go ahead and sit for me, mate?" And then as it kind of like sits on its hind legs or on its like haunches and just kind of sits there, and he's like, "Yeah, so you call it the bag of tricks, and basically you just jam your hand into here," and he kind of like shows you, jam your hand into the bag. And you grab one of these fuzzy objects and you just throw it, and creatures appear. So it's pretty cool.
Creatures appear.
Not real
How
creatures,
many
They are.
things are in the bag?
They are in fact real creatures. As a matter, you can go over there and
So
touch
are they real or are they fey?
They're real. Real as you can touch, me and you.
I'm gonna cautiously approach. What was it, the panther?
Yeah.
I'm gonna cast Sending at the Panther and just go, "You good, bud?"
You don't get a response. As you go over to it, it just kind of sits there, and it's just kind of like, as you approach it.
Is it moving?
Yeah, it's like you can see, like it's there. It's like it's not moving. It's like sitting as he told it to sit, so it's sitting there.
And like try and pet it.
Yeah, it kind of just like as you like, it kind of like smells your hand, and then you just start petting it.
Say,
How
Can they
many?
fight?
How many? Sure. Can they fight?
I mean, it does whatever you command it to do. Like I told it to sit, and so it say it.
And is it listening to you because you have the bag or you threw it, or?
Because I threw it.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many tricks are in the bag, and when you use a trick,
You can pull 3 fuzzy objects a day, and it resets at the beginning of it each dawn. So
Is it always panthers?
I'm not entirely sure. When I first got it, I tried it out for a little bit and come back. Actions come back. Come on, give it back to me. Okay. When we tried it out, god damn it, whatever. You can pull it when I initially got it and I pulled out the objects and I threw them and I tried it multiple times. The creatures were they varied, and I mean I got a couple of them that repeated, and then I got a couple that it varied every so often. There seems to be about 8 different variations of it of a creature that I can grab and pull to and create and shift into.
What kind of creatures?
It had yeah, obviously right before you can see yourselves you can see a panther. There's also a weasel. A weasel came out at one point. A giant rat. A boar. Just a handful of different creatures.
And how much
Gamble.
is the bag of tricks?
I will be willing to part this with this bag of tricks for 350 gold.
Anybody?
I'm personally out. It's a little steep for me for now. I do have to grab a few more supplies.
Yeah, I don't have that myself.
Would you like it? Zahir, how short are you?
I'm about 50 gold short. How much was the cost again? 300? What? 30?
350.
350? Okay, I'm 75 gold short.
Yeah, if you can, is there perhaps a deal of some kind we can make?
Yes.
It seems like my friend is interested.
Absolutely no worries, mate. Yeah, I can go ahead and relinquish this to you for 325. 325 gold pieces, and this bag of tricks is in fact gonna be yours.
I will, if you want it, I can chip in 25 more towards it as well.
I'll chip in 25 towards you. Yeah.
Alright. And that will put me with enough, and then I'll have, no money afterwards.
Well, I can, with the rest of my money, I can buy us both supplies. I just need a little. Well, I already actually paid for the nights that will be here.
That will work. And then yeah. So you both give me, what, 25?
Yes.
I like looking at the bag.
25, 10, 25, 10.
What was that?
Say again.
Mr. Denrick?
Say again, Denrick.
I'm kind of gazing at the bag, kind of suspiciously.
Yeah, a lot of magic kind of coming across your way here in these last, throughout this little experience, which is a little bit foreign to you. I mean, you're not necessarily, you're not around magic consistently per se, so it's a little bit interesting to see a lot of this work.
I would say magic itself, yeah, but more magic, obscure items, no.
Right, exactly.
Well, with this and the supplies that we're gonna side off and just grab a whole list of, I believe that is it for me, and it seems to be, I'm gonna kind of peer out the window and see what time of day it was, because I know it took me a while at the potion shop.
Yeah, so I'd say at this point it's probably getting closer to about 2 o'clock in the afternoon as you kind of look out one of the windows. It's definitely starting to get out, get a little bit later in the day, and you definitely know that daylight's not going to be lasting much longer. since the days are
So,
shorter.
Scavenger, on a more of a normal note, do you happen to have snowshoes?
I definitely have snowshoes. I can go ahead and hook you up with, mate. 100%.
Interesting. Okay. Very
Real
well.
quick, Oh, is it just for walking on snow? Is that what you're asking for?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I thought about it. The only problem is if I can walk on snow, and my friend Kevin cannot, big old oxen.
Well,
I
your
guess
doesn't
it's yeah. Look, the guy who's selling them to you, he's gonna try to convince you. Its name's probably different than Jenny, but it is Jenny, and don't let him push you on it.
it.
Was it?
Was it? Yeah.
Denny?
It was either Jenny, Denny, or Kenny. I can't remember.
Or Lenny?
Believe it was Benny.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that.
Definitely wasn't a B.
Definitely wasn't.
There's a
But
bee?
anyways,
There's a B.
oh God. But yeah, I guess snowshoes might not be a bad idea, Denrick.
figure-
But
I figure,
if you want to go for it, yeah.
Figure extras never hurt, and if for whatever reason we need to trek away from our mounts, it wouldn't be the worst option. I mean, if I'll sink in 20 feet of snow, I don't plan on fighting my way out of that.
Good
Nothing's
point.
better.
I think considering your armor and such, I think with snowshoes you'll just have a very nice footprint as you still sink 20 feet into the snow. But perhaps it'll work.
If he runs fast enough.
Yeah, if you
Hopefully,
run.
hopefully the road is decent enough. We're not just trekking through the middle of nowhere.
It sounds like we're all but trekking through the middle of nowhere, from what I heard from Axoff. I guess Scavenger, we heard from Axoff a little bit, but for you seem to know more about the Frost Trail than us. At the risk of setting you up very nicely for a sale, I guess, what other things might we need to prioritize right now as far as gear and things to be prepared for out on that trail?
I mean, I would say you definitely want to go. I mean, you already bought some tents, which that's obviously a good investment there. And I think they're making sure that you have plenty of rations and firewood and just a lot of them. I'd say a lot of things are. There's not a simplicity. A lot of simple items are overlooked, and so I would just make sure that you definitely have those kinds of those necessities, because having magic items is cool and all until you're out there, you don't have any firewood or you don't have any, food.
I mean, that might be another benefit of the flame whip you had there. We could just wrap a little half circle around ourselves and get warm with an inverted fire. We're all in the middle of it.
Eh? Plenty of it.
Did it produce
Wrap it
warmth
around your
when
neck.
it was outside? Did it produce warmth?
It produced warmth, yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to instead of a water-cooled computer, I'm about to have a fire-lined fucking armor. It's ooh, myself nice toasty. Just a whip inside my shirt.
But I will say
use it as a scarf.
It is getting a little bit late though, so I will say we're going to wrap up here pretty soon. So is there anything, anything else that you would like, unique items wise from him that you would like to obtain?
I think
No,
we'll
I
just
think I'm limited now. I think the only things we probably still need are rations and firewood. But
Okay.
we
we'll
can just
just
handle on the way
acquire.
out.
Yeah.
Ropes and stuff like that, just all minor.
Yeah, we'll say that you guys go ahead and we can go ahead and kind of go over all that stuff. I'll have you guys probably post into the chat and stuff, and then I can just go and give you pricing and costs and stuff for that, and then we'll just do that all then, so that we're not kind of sitting here for
just
30 minutes doing it.
End up getting them in the adventures packs or whatever.
Yeah.
Don't we have 50 feet of rope?
I do from my
Depending on the pack,
explorer.
Yeah, I don't have a pack.
Yeah, you can choose choose a starting pack, and then you can have all the stuff in there, and then just get whatever else you don't need. Whatever else you need.
If you need it, I have a photo of what comes
can
in
look
each
them up.
pack. I have a quick notes for them.
Because the
Well-
normal explorer's pack has a tinderbox water skin in it.
So we'll say that y'all kind of
Rations.
got everything you need, and then with concluding
Rations/water.
your adventure with Scavengers, well, I appreciate y'all coming by, and go ahead and tell Axel that I appreciate him sending y'all over here and acquiring some of my goods. So I appreciate that. Send
Very
my
nice.
regards.
I think I'll use my ring of sending to say, no problem. Anytime.
He replies back. Appreciate you, mate.
Are you willing to have drinks with Axoff as well?
I could...
He shakes your hand. He's your large
I like
hand.
pick him up and shake him.
Yeah, he's like, oh, all right, easy now, mate. Damn, jeez,
when
you're
I
gonna
set
pull
him
my
down,
arm out.
I'll cast Cure Wounds if I did any actual damage to him.
He's like, oh yeah, oh okay, yeah. Oh, better then. Very nice. Well, all right. If you have any other needs for anything before y'all venture out there into the Frost Trail, then you know where to find me. But in the meantime, best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm gonna throw one of the tricks.
Oh, you actually bought that,
Into the
right? So
store.
y'all, okay,
Yeah.
okay. I'm going to go ahead and roll a d8 for me.
What the fuck? There it is. As a 6.
As you throw it in, as you're exiting, and you're kind of like, as the doors are kind of closing behind you, you peer in. A giant badger morphs from the little object as it kind of scurries, like looks around, and you're kind of like, all right, see you. as you close the door behind. And I
Is
think
there a
with
range it can get away from me?
And I think that with that, we'll go ahead and end tonight's session. I'll send.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah, I'll send you the stats for a lot of those things as you guys in the Discord, so you guys can just copy and paste them and whatnot. But yeah, we'll go ahead and end tonight there. Yeah, I think I'll just go ahead and call that Gucci, and then yeah, we'll just go ahead and do a lot of that, like the kind of the essentials and like the simple kind of items that y'all need just to survive. We'll go ahead and kind of go through and be a little more quick. But in the meantime, I'll go ahead and sign us off here. So that'll be the end of our session. Appreciate y'all for watching. We will be
All right.
hitting and getting it. Yeah. Next week we should be able to kind of finalize a lot of the supplies and hopefully get everything ready to go, and then send these fine lads on their way to the through the Frost Trail. So,
Who are deaths?
so
Hey, we
yeah.
got 2 deaths before it's permanent.
Hey, that is all that matters. Y'all have
if
two.
you-
Yeah,
if you
you
get
have
to them
2
in a minute.
retries. You have 2 lives.
That's true. If I can somehow make it across the battlefield in a minute, we're good.
Let's
If
be
not-
clear. Let's be clear. We have 2 attempts at a retry.
That's
So
true.
That's
Also true.
I don't know. Personally, I've never revived someone before, so I don't know if it'll work. But you know.
That's confidence. That's confidence. All right. Well, we'll see y'all next time. Y'all have a wonderful night, and yeah, peace out.